A trial since, and she's here to play. She's in the right part of the track too, drawn to the outside and heavily backed here. Over 65% of turnover is with Estriella. Blake Shin looking
previous winners, but now with a $500,000 prize pool attached, what you need last year defeating Renosu.
Hard to narrow it down to one. I'm with the guys though, because Estriella to me has just continued to improve this preparation. When I
money, would you believe it? Even money. She's got to start in the red the way punters are tipping in here. First leg of the quaddie. It's all about the heavily backed favourite, number 13, race 7, Estriella. Outside of this,
they stand well, and they're racing. Hedge jumped away well, balked to the left and squeezed out Title Fighter. Beginning well was Perilous Fighter in the middle of the pack. It looks as though initially they were going to split, but they're going to huddle up the middle, where Excess is the leader. Core Concept, Perilous Fighter, She's All Shenanigans, and also Estriella in the firing line from Stretton Angel Hedged. Then Saltaire and Arkansas Kid, and further back in the field is Hand She. Next then is She Light, and well back is Wolfie, Title Fighter, I Am Unstoppable, and also De Bergerac. 600 metres to go. It's Estriella leading out by a length. She's All Shenanigans and Excess, and further back is Arkansas Kid. Then Stretton Angel coiled up from Core Concept, and then came Hand She, Perilous Fighter under pressure. Then Saltaire, Hedged, Wolfie well back with She Light, and then came De Bergerac. It's Estriella. Shin hasn't moved. 200 metres to go. A length and a half, 2 lengths. She's All Shenanigans, Arkansas Kid, Stretton Angel and Saltaire late. Now he goes for Estriella, and she pings away. She's 2.5 lengths in front. She's too good. Estriella, brilliant. Arkansas Kid second. Saltaire for third from Stretton Angel, I fancy. They were followed by Hedged and She's All Shenanigans. Further back, Title Fighter. Then came Wolfie, I Am.
The possibilities are endless. Estriella, superb in winning the Sunlight Classic, and the story is in the time. 1:02.3 she stopped the clock at going across the line. That is 0.16 of a second outside Love You Madly's track record set in 2013, and she has...
Anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200. Look, I think she's destined for Group 1, this horse. She's pretty special. Look, she's got the frame, she's got the physique like a...
And harnessing her, because she's got so much ability. And I thought last start, her last win was huge. I thought the way she...
What do you see when you look at her do this?
She looks like a Group 1 winner in waiting. This race is so well programmed now on the calendar to go to Sydney or Adelaide, so you get a good bunch of good horses, and to do this to this field was enormous. And Blake Shin, he just rides where he finds her. Back, forward, doesn't matter. She's too good.
Ollie, your perspective on a filly who I think, as Junior said, and most people would probably agree with, has got a Group 1 in time. It's just a matter of when and where.
Yeah, she looks a star. Just look at those times on the bottom of your screen there. You know, they're just brilliant. And to do it from the front, which is not always easy to do down the straight, she does look a star. Probably a race like the Sangster as a 3-year-old. I think I won it on a Lingy after winning a Newmarket. You know, looks like it'd be a great race for her.
And she pings away. She's 2.5 lengths in front. She's too good. Estriella, brilliant. Arkansas Kid second. Saltaire for third from Stretton Angel.
6 outside the track record of Love You Madly, and taking care of Giga Kicks, no less, class record.
That was a very strong... To win that way in that time, she's a... I think I agree with the guys, a Group 1 winner in waiting, and whether it's the Saints of this preparation or in the spring, I'm not sure. They're even talking about heading up to Sydney for an Arrowfield where she'd be hard to beat, but love the progression she's made. You had the sense from the stable.
Again today, Mr. B, Mr. Brightside, to run the 1.25 miles and win it that trip for the first time is the popular elect, that is for sure. He opened up at 235 with Sportsbet. Although he's out to 250, we're holding very good money for him. Pride of Jenny's been soft in the market since she's opened, 290, out to 350, now $4. Can she run a strong 2,000 metres? You know she's a lead at stay with a big deep pool with sports bettors. 850 Cascadians, last year's winner, and $18.
162nd Australian Cup. Jane, can you find us the winner from the yard?
Look, I just really love the way that Legato has improved since we saw her here at Flemington.
Feet of Pride of Jenny at the All-Star Mile last start, and he's the popular elect, that is for sure. Mr. Brightside's going to start your clear-cut favourite. Now, Pride of Jenny got out to $4 with Sportsbet, back into $3.70. A Tissue, the best backed outside of Mr. Brightside here. $4.60 in from...
They're ready. Gates are back and they're racing, and Mr. Brightside away pretty well. Pride of Jenny jumped with them. Estifini led from Legato. Young Verda's dug up. Mr. Brightside's also booting up. Now Pride of Jenny, using plenty of the track, makes a line of 5, and they're a length and a half. Vow and Declare, A Tissue, Dom to Shoot and Cascadian. Interesting tactics early. Young Verda wants a piece of the action. Also in the group there is Estifini, Mr. Bright, and at the 1400 metres he got over Pride of Jenny to lead now by 2.5 lengths. Estifini second, Mr. Brightside third, and fourth is Young Verta. 2 1/4 A Tissue and Legato, and then Dom to Shoot. Second last Vow and Declare, and last year's winner Cascadian is at the end. 1200 metres to go. This is what she loves, Pride of Jenny. She's out clear by 5 or 6 lengths in the Australian Cup. Estifini second, a length Mr. Brightside, a length and a quarter Young Verta. Then came A Tissue, Legato, Dom to Shoot, Vow and Declare, and Cascadian's 15 lengths at least off Pride of Jenny. 850 metres to go. She quickens it up to the 800. Pride of Jenny 6 lengths in front of Estifini, Mr. Brightside. 2 further back is Young Verta. They were followed next by A Tissue as they run the turn from Legato, Vow and Declare. Well back in the field is Dom to Shoot and Cascadian last. So Pride of Jenny looks 500 metres in front of her. About 5 lengths, Mr. Brightside heeled along. Under the whip, Estifini. A Tissue's travelling, got a run between horses. Then Legato, Young Verta, and behind them Vow and Declare. Pride of Jenny, 300 metres to go. 4 lengths in front. A Tissue's trying to grind her down. Then Mr. Brightside, Cascadian. Pride of Jenny, she can run through walls at the 150, but A Tissue and Cascadian are coming at her. Pride of Jenny at the 100. Cascadian wearing her down. Pride of Jenny at the 50. Cascadian's got up to her. Cascadian back to back. Cascadian just beats Pride of Jenny in a brilliant finish. Third a photo. Vow and Declare or A Tissue, then Mr. Brightside. Behind them Legato, Young Verta, Estifini, and Dom to Shoot was last of all.
Everything that was drawn up about the 162nd Australian Cup has played out over a spectacular 2 minutes. Cascadian becomes the first since Harlem in 2018 and 19 to go back-to-back. He wins his second and third attempts at the great race. And Ben Melham becomes the first jockey since Cyril Small aboard Vo Rogue in 1989 and 90 to go back-to-back on the same horse. What a spectacular performance. And look at the time. All set up by Pride of Jenny. 2 minutes, .05. Just a smidge quicker than Michael Walker did on Spillway in 2015. The fastest edition of the Australian Cup we've seen since Mackay Diva set the track record in 2005.
He likes to be ridden, and the way I discussed with James and Godolphin about riding him, so that's a great help for a jockey.
Different stages in the race, but a lightning quick addition. This is the fastest Australian Cup we've seen since Mackay Diva set the Flemington 2,000 metre track record in winning the race in 2005.
Yeah, and thanks to Carl Diorio from Best Bets, it was the quickest first 1,400 metres of any Australian Cup since the year 2000. And he also mentioned the point of how good Declan Bates' ride was aboard Pride of Jenny is how evenly he was able to pace her and how efficiently he was able to pace her in front, just getting the absolute most out of her. He's done a terrific job aboard Pride of Jenny this preparation, and in the end she was just beaten by a better horse at 2,000 metres on the day. He was so good from the front. Ben Melham was so good from the back. He knows Cascadian so well, and he's
run between horses. Then Legato, Young Verta, and behind them Vow and Declare. Pride of Jenny, 300 metres to go. 4 lengths in front. A Tissue's trying to grind her down. Then Mr. Brightside, Cascadian. Pride of Jenny, she can run through walls at the 150, but A Tissue and Cascadian are coming at her. Pride of Jenny at the 100. Cascadian wearing her down. Pride of Jenny at the 50. Cascadian's got up to her. Cascadian back to back. Cascadian just beats Pride of Jenny in a brilliant...
21 Group 1s for Ben Melham and back-to-back aboard Cascadian in the Australian Cup. Ollie, from a riding position,
broke all the others, and he was just able to nab him late.
You always feel like he could get to these sorts of heights. The Doncaster win earlier in the career, but now 2 Australian Cups. Not Cox Plate territory necessarily, but still an incredible CV he's put together.
Yeah, he loves Flemington. He's always run so well there. You know, he's so tough and seasoned now, and he must be so sound as a 9-year-old still racing so well. So, you know, great training performance from the Godolphin team.
It's almost in career best form, isn't it?
The second horse, she was so good. We have to throw her in as a contender for a Cox Plate now, don't we? Because
Moonee Valley.
She's paced that efficiently around the valley. She's going to take some real catching.
Yeah, and as Kieran said, she'll get better.
Lexus Roy Higgins, as we know, the first opportunity for a horse to guarantee their entry into the Lexus Melbourne Cup come Tuesday, November 5, and it went the way of Mark Twain, what an hour or so. Then this happened for OTI with their son of shocking a previous Melbourne Cup winner. He's going to have a runner in 8 months' time.
Yeah, some sort of win. He was unlucky in an Auckland Cup, got a long way back, was held up at various stages. But Michael D spoke about this wasn't an easy ride for him. Yeah, he went back to last and came round them, but I don't think the horse was always cooperating. And leading them up was the A.
Talking to Roger yesterday, he said this is a baby still. 11th start in the race. He promised the owners a 25 Cup tilt. Well, he's got one this year.
Ollie, Michael D spoke
to the turn and he looked like he'd stolen it. And then I saw this thing coming down the outside. As I said, I thought it was Kiwi himself. And
Mark Twain is absolutely flashing home. Here comes the Kiwi. Mark Twain over the top has got up to win it. Second, Strawberry Rock. Third in the race was
Major Beale and John McNeil got the tempo a bit better than what happened in the Pakenham Cup, but watching that again, Mark Twain was probably, 2 lengths off him at the 150 and has had 2 lengths on him at the finish.
Yeah, the winner's the one with obviously the most upside going forward, isn't he? Given where he came from in the run and what he had to overcome, that was, he's still a raw product, as Ollie's touched on, with some upside. That's the exciting part. So, keeping
70 and has already attracted a lot of interest in that Derby market at $2.70. Kintyre's on the equal second line. High Dandy's the horse I want to talk about. So $26 was the open. We only have 3 cents worth of deductions, and that money has continued again today. A special run from Glad You Think So. Texas Fireball has some specking, not much interest in any.
In the Toyota Forklifts Tulloch Stakes. Racing now, and High Dandy's jumped out fairly well. Texas Fireball and Wymark were first out, and now High Dandy given a rev up, and Tyler Schiller gets High Dandy to the lead from Wymark. Texas Fireball, Texas Run moving forward, so's Kintyre and Fists of Fury's out very wide in the early part, with the bend coming up soon. Then Noisy Boy, there followed them. He's got into fourth, and as the field starts to string out somewhat, further back to Mornington Pier, Texas Fireball and the favourite Wymark about midfield, one off the fence. Then Glad You Think So on the inside of Noisy Boy. Further back now to Anderson Bridge as they go inside the 1,000. On the inside is Salt Coates. Well back done Believin' from Steel Blaze and Tom Cruisen's last of all. So they're letting High Dandy really control the pace here. High Dandy at the 800 metres, 4 in front. 2 Kintyre and Mornington Pier. Then Tokyo Run, Fists of Fury. 2.5 further back to the favourite Wymark. Then the grey Texas Fireball from Noisy Boy. Glad You Think So. Salt Coates, Anderson Bridge, Done Believin', Steel Blaze, Tom Cruisen, last of all. High Dandy coming back to them a bit. Rounding the corner, High Dandy pushed on now with Kintyre drawing level. Then Tokyo Run. Further back to Mornington Pier, Noisy Boy. Now Wymark being sooled up, picking up the bridle. Kintyre races to the lead at the 250. Wymark's in hot pursuit. Then Noisy Boy, Salt Coates wide out. Wymark takes the lead now at the 150. Wymark a length clear from Kintyre, and then Noisy Boy knuckling down, but Wymark, he's going to make it 4 in a row. Wymark beats Noisy Boy. Salt Coates third, and Kintyre fourth in the Tulloch Stakes, followed by Anderson Bridge. Then Glad You Think So. Fists of Fury, Steel Blaze, Tokyo Runner, Texas Fireball, High Dandy weekend out.
Way, hasn't he? Michael Friedman, it'll be interesting if Emma does ask him why didn't you nominate him for the Derby. I think it might have been the fact that he felt he was too slow and not good enough, Lizzie, but he's gone bang, bang, bang. He's been winning by margins, not by big margin today, but there was authority, I thought, in that win, didn't you?
Yeah, you never sort of even thought that he was going to get beaten. You knew that he had the measure of...
Remember the Tap Craig from last preparation where this horse went up double figures and got absolutely hammered in the market. Well, the money's here again, and it hasn't been here this preparation thus far. If Macarena does win, watch the confidence just lift with Zardozi later on in the day too with that form line. The Ruthless Stame at $4.20 on the second line, Hinged at $5.50, Alencia at $6.50, and then Vienna Princess.
Ready to go now in the Emancipation Stakes. Ready? Racing, the favourite Macarena jumped out okay off the inside. Ruthless Dame and Street Gossip won the start. Macarena posies up on the fence, followed by Hinge wide out. Then Camardi Glamour from Stormy Witness there on the rails. Alencia and Vienna Princess splitting runners. They're followed further back by She's All Class going right up the fence there in the red cap. Third last gently rolled from Barbie's Fox, and Hell Hath No Fury settles last of all. Street Gossip takes the lead now. Street Gossip out by a length and a half. They're at the 1,000 metres. Hinge parks second, the outside of the favourite Macarena, and Ruthless Dame gets cover in fourth. Then the roughy Stormy Witness. Two further back to Alencia. Vienna Princess cast a bit deep with She's All Class the rails. A length further back to Gently Rolled from Arctic Glamour. Hell Hath No Fury and Barbie's Fox last of all. 7.50 to go. Street Gossip by 3/4 to Hinge. Macarena given every hope third. Then Ruthless Dame, Stormy Witness, Vienna Princess has been asked to do plenty in the run. On the outside of Alencia, then came Arctic Glamour, and She's All Class as they turn the corner. And Street Gossip in front. Hinged is under the pump. Macarena travelling but needs room. Ruthless Dame gets going. So does Alencia the outside. Further back to Vienna Princess at the 2.50, and Alencia moved up. Alencia put the head in front from Ruthless Dame. Macarena's all strung up. Alencia gets a length and a half clear now, and pulling away Alencia. It's a big day for Tommy Berry, a riding treble, and Alencia, a big winner of the Emancipation. Arctic Glamour got second in front of Ruthless Dame, and Macarena, when clear, got up to run fourth. Then came Hinged, further back to Street Gossip, Stormy Witness, Barbie's Fox. Then came Hell Hath No Fury from Gently Rolled, She's All Class, and Vienna Princess will go home with an excuse.
Yes, she will. So Tommy Berry, as Darren alluded to, so 3 consecutive wins on such a big day. Lizzie gave him the star. I think of Chris Waller. 1,200 last week, kept her back, decided the quick back up, goes to 1,500. And this filly who couldn't...
Tommy Berry first up on her. He didn't really have a great deal of luck, but today was completely the opposite because he was able to get that lovely run in transit just behind the speed. There was a lot of hard luck stories. I thought Ruthless Dame was probably considering the run she had. The big one we need to talk about is Macarena, who had absolutely no luck whatsoever, just stuck in behind.
This is $1.50. How short is Orchestral, Ben?
Very short, around the $1.60 mark. And if you had have said to me during the week that we'd see $1.60, let alone potentially $1.50, I would have said you're kidding yourself. But $1.60 and $4.40 now, and the money is dictating it. There is 4.5 times more on Orchestral than Zardozi, and there is about 67% of the overall money on Orchestral. So it has been absolutely truckloaded. There is nothing at longer odds that I can try and steer you into from a money side of things.
Tura Levita and Komochi were the first two into stride. They're going to beat off Queen of Dragons early. Followed them by Our Gold Hope. Orchestral settles midfield, one off the rails. Zardozi right on her coattails as True Fairy's gone down to the rails. Then Merit Mount Buller and Piplup last. So Komochi first try at 2,000. So it's Komochi, a 2-length leader down the back from Queen of Dragons. Tura Levita a length and a half away third. Followed after a similar margin to Orchestral. Racing on the outside of Our Gold Hope. Then came the Victorian Oaks winner, Zardozi, who's in the second half of the field from True Fairy, Merit Mount Buller, and Piplup sees them all. So Komochi at the 1,000 leads out by a length to Queen of Dragons. 2 lengths Tura Levita in third. Then Our Gold Hope on the inside of Orchestral. Zardozi still sits right on the coattails of the favourite. Then True Fairy from Merit Mount Buller and Piplup last of all. No change to the order in the Binary Stud Stakes. Komochi in front. Hang on. Tura Levita's off now, and Tura Levita starts a run at the 800 metres. Went up to race to the lead from Komochi. Then Queen of Dragons. Orchestral right on the bridle in fourth. On the outside of Our Gold Hope, and Zardozi tracks up. Tura Levita with that move early. Tura Levita swings in front by 2 lengths. Orchestral revved up by McDonald. She's 2 lengths away. Zardozi getting to the outside at the 2.50. Tura Levita still a length and a half clear from Orchestral, who's grinding away. Zardozi's running on well on the outside. Here's a big finish. Tura Levita still in front. Now Orchestral. Her class is starting to shine through, and Orchestral raced to the lead and takes out the Binary Stud Stakes. Orchestral running down Tura Levita with Zardozi in third. Then came Queen of Dragons from Our Gold Hope. Further back, Merit Mount Buller, Piplup. Further back to True Fairy and Komochi.
Didn't you love it up the straight? Nash being chased by J-Mac and Aussie Tom, and J-Mac was able to get the best out of this whopping. Look at that backside. Lizzie talked about it earlier, 1, 5 and 2. It was a dashing ride by Rawilla, but McDonald was confident. It took the whole of the Rosehill straight, but when she got there, she looked supreme in the last 20 metres.
She certainly did, Bruce. That was a thrilling finish. It looked as though it was going to be at the top of the straight, maybe Zardozi and Orchestral, but Tudelavita pinched that break, and she was just brilliant. Look at James. He looks across and gives Nash a bit of a roar. Cheeky, you nearly pinched that from me.
Look at him. He's absolutely yapping his head off, isn't he? So, and this Roger James. So Roger's in Melbourne today with Mark Twain and the Roy Higgins. Robert, of course, is up here just for...
The vinery for the 3-year-old fillies, it was over 2,000 metres, and it was the clash we'd been waiting for between the Kiwi Star and Orchestral off her sensational summer, including, of course, a romping effort to win the New Zealand Derby. She was up against Zardozi, the Oaks winner, and right in the middle of it all was Nash Rawilla with Tudelavita, and he was nearly able to pull it off with a pretty brazen ride. Third in the flight, fourth in the Spring Champion. She had her credentials at 2,000 metres, but Orchestral, the urgings of James McDonald, able to just get her there on the post. Zardozi back in third. It was a great race to watch unfold. What does it tell us for what's to come?
Oh, we know she's a very good filly, don't we? All the form stacking up around her. It was, I think, a better ride on Tudelavita than what first meets the eye. I think it made it really tough for her to be run down, and it was a good effort to be run down in the end. But yeah, she's an exciting filly going forward.
Yeah, outstanding ride by Nash. Showed initiative, took off at the 650, I think, and made it a real race. James never panicked. This, I think, it was a bonus win for her. You know, she's had 2 peaks, Karaka Million Day, New Zealand Derby, back to 2,000. I think you'll see in 2 weeks' time in the Oaks, as James said yesterday, her peak again and blow them away.
Third win in the race for Roger James. Prowess last year gives him a good measuring stick on Orchestral.
There's a fair bit of money there, so I don't think you're going to be getting too much better than that. There was a little bit of chat through the week. Would Post Impressionist Stephen be there? And I think as a result, we saw some money for Buckaroo. But come today, now that Post Impressionist is in fact there, that's completely dried up. So there's a couple of points between them, but in terms of money, there's 3 times more on Post Impressionist and about 45% of the hold. More fit.
Racing now. And pretty even line out of the gates, really. Carla Poor jumped well. Military Mission given a positive ride from the wide draw. It's moving forward on the outside of Carla Poor. Boisdejean's going to settle third. Couple off then to More Felons up on the outside of Ash Runner. 2 lengths to the favourite Post Impressionist. A gap of 3 to Buckaroo. And Athabaskan's last of all. So Hieronymus takes the lead here. Post Impressionist, the short price favourite after his big win in the Manion Cup last Saturday. Athabaskan second last, and the second favourite in betting, Buckaroo, sees them all. Military Mission, an uncontested lead down the back, out by 2.5 to Carla Poor, and then came Boisdejean. No change to the action, a gap of 3 further back to More Felons. Then came Ash Runner. Post Impressionist still third last, but on the outside of Athabaskan, and Buckaroo's a length behind the short price favourite. So Military Mission's got it all his own way. Well inside the halfway mark and going to the 1,000 now. Military Mission leads the way by 2 lengths on Carla Poor. Then came Boisdejean. A gap on the field to More Felons. Then came Ash Runner. From Athabaskan, Post Impressionist. Marquin quite happy to sit back at the moment. And 2.5 away to Buckaroo. So it's Military Mission just in front. Boisdejean pulled out. Just behind them is Carla Poor. Still 4 further back to More Felons from Ash Runner. Then being pumped along Athabaskan from Post Impressionist. Marquin gets hard at work now on the favourite. Not picking up immediately. And still Buckaroo's back last of all. Boisdejean sustaining this runner. Moved up on the outside of Military Mission as they turn for home. Carla Poor 3 lengths away third. Then More Felons from Ash Runner. Post Impressionist still a long way back. It's Boisdejean the leader. Carla Poor starting to knuckle down. Military Mission fighting back on the rails, and then came More Felons. It's Carla Poor in front of the 100. Carla Poor from More Felons. Carla Poor kicking from More Felons. Carla Poor clinging on, and Carla Poor won the Tancred just from More Felons. I think Ash Run nailed third in front of Athabaskan. Then came Military Mission from Boisdejean. Then came Buckaroo, and the favourite Post Impressionist has run a clear last.
So the backup for Post Impressionist, that's one thing you completely think of. Richie, I'm going to hand to you. You picked that as the roughie of the race. Dylan Gibbons gets a second Group 1. Chris Lee's a 17th. $54.95, my friend.
Oh, it's a beautiful ride, wasn't it, Bruce? And that's what it came down to. Dylan Gibbons, he was stalking Military Mission, and then suddenly the speed came in the race with the grey, and then that played right into the hands of Colourpaw. More felons for James McDonald. He just misses a second Group 1 of the day, and Buckaroo was storming down the outside. First, second and third, Bruce, the really tough stayers if Ashran gets third just ahead of Buckaroo. The tough stayers have come to the fore. In fact, add in top
to your heart. Colourpaw gave you a fantastic win on Derby Day in the Archer last year, and now he's a Group 1 winner in a Tancred. And, well, the Geelong Cup's got a bit of form coming out of it as well, because 5th and 2nd in last year's race. More felons than Ashran have run 2nd and 3rd here.
Yeah, it was a great win. A surprise one, obviously, but he, won the Lexus on him last year, I think it was, and stole it from the front on him. But it was great to see for Chrissy Lees and Dylan Gibbons as well to get a nice Group 1 for him. Yep.
Melbourne's been the beneficiary of the programming here. We had a fantastic Australian Cup, but not having a national approach to programming is bad for racing. We want the best horses racing the best. This was a poor field. Congratulations to the connection of Colourpaw, and well done to everybody involved. But Colourpaw's just won a Tancred. Tancred was a race where growing up I remember Mackay Diva winning it. All these good horses.
Winning an Australian Cup.
Yeah, all these good years. Horses. It's been a terrific race over the years. It was not this year.
So all that said, though, where does yesterday's Australian Cup and the Tancred cross over?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
I would look at the field and go, the only possible horse who could have gone to the Tancred yesterday that was in the Australian Cup is Vow and Declare.
Yeah, well, I don't know. But I'm just saying it's a consistent theme throughout the calendar year where the best don't race the best anymore. And I was talking to Sam Friedman about it yesterday and other people, and we, as racing fans, to try and attract new racing fans, what got me into the sport was seeing champions and seeing sport, best racing the best, us hardened punters, we're going to bet on it regardless. Us hardened racing fans, we're going to enjoy it regardless. And it's great for trainers, it's great for jockeys that everything gets spread out and everyone gets an opportunity to win more prize money, but it's not good for the sport, in my opinion, and seeing a Tancred with a field of that quality.
I think also having the Ramvet one last week, the Australian Cup yesterday, and the Tancred, and also I think the Queen Elizabeth worth $4 million now as well. A lot of nice horses saved for that. There's a lot of big races in a short period of time, and they just can't run every week, so something's got to give.
And we haven't got the depth.
Off a lot stronger.
Another Rules had 2 handlers all the way around. How's he look to you?
Look, he's not perfect, I must say. Look, this is the first time I've seen him in the yard, Bruce, so I can't sort of completely put a line through him, but I definitely would prefer him to be a lot more switched off and relaxed. So, yeah, not the perfect scenes. Let's see how he is.
Shorten up. No, well, it's also the lay of the day with our tab traders as well, so they'll be happy to hear that news. Around the $1.75 mark, it's not a pot on the horse, but more a pot on the price. And out to $1.80 now. Don't be surprised if that just gets out of touch again. Now, their convictions. Benchmark 84 in Melbourne, up to group level here in Sydney. They certainly think that is a bridge too far for a horse to be at $26 into 16, and there is some specking there. Rustic still near Frenelis and Wellwall and Co at 21 or more. But at the moment, 68% of the hold going the way.
There's the light. Ready to go on the Doncaster Prelude. Racing now, and a pretty good line out. A more victorious sped out. Coin toss handled the start well, and so did the favourite, another Willie Parks in third. Then came Bandersnatch from You Called It. Back in the field, we've got a real clump of runners. New Endeavours out very wide from Williamsburg. Super Helpful, Bold Mac Hosier. Then came Wellwall from Rustic Steel, Von Hawk. And well back in the field there is Wethor together with Superior, and Mudamek in a wide positions last of all. So More Victorious leads the way by a length. Another Will surges up into second now with Coin Toss back on the inside of Bandersnatch. Further back to You Called It as they race inside the 900 metres. Further back then to Williamsburg out deep from Super Helpful and Bold Mac on the rails. They're followed after a length and a half to Rustic Steel on the inside of Well War. Hosier punching through on the rails. Further back to Von Hawk. Then came Superior from Quetor, and Mudamek sees them all. A More Victorious in front. The odds-on favourite, Another Will, a half length away as they come around the turn. Then Bandersnatch, Coin Toss. Further back to You Called It. Williamsburg hooking to the outside from New Endeavour, and Well Waller's the deepest. 300 metres to run, and Another Will given his head, and Another Will went up to head off a More Victorious. Then came Bandersnatch and Well Wall running on, but Another Will's drawn two. 3 lanes clear here in the Doncaster Praded. Backed off the map. Good horse. Keeps raising the bar, and Another Will destroys them. Beating last year's winner Bandersnatch and Well Wall third. Then came a More Victorious. Further back then to New Endeavour, Super Helpful, Von Hawk, Rustic Steel, Coin Toss behind them from Whetor, Superior, and Mudamek.
$8 for the Doncaster before today. Rich, I know Kieran Maher's going to join you. So Jamie's situation, another one of Kieran Maher's Southport Tycoon. I wonder what happens here, because she was, I know, committed, I felt, to Southport Tycoon. This bloke, she gets into the race. This was so impressive. Lizzie, a quick comment before Kieran Maher?
Yeah, unbelievable to see him being able to transcend that form from Victoria now to New South Wales. It's a big ask to be able to perform at this type of level, especially after not everything went perfectly in the prelims, but he's a very, very good horse. We've answered that, and
seen him here. He's a raw horse that's getting through the grades, and he's winning similar each time, which is really exciting.
Off the pace, and then he's still strong late. Just controlled this race with Jamie Carr outside the speed, and it was a very, very sweet watch for the many punters who stormed into him. So I don't know whether he deserves to be Doncaster favourite. I haven't had a good chance to go through the field and have a look at who else he's going to be up against, but with a lightweight, it's been a good operation to get him in there, and he's it's always my favourite race in Sydney every year, the Doncaster. It's just a great Australian handicap at Group 1 level, and he is such an interesting addition to the race this year now that he's got his spot in the field. What did you make of him, Michael?
Outstanding. Did they actually put up $15 on TAB?
Look, I think...
This is an outstanding question. Unrehearsed too, might I say. Full truth, please. Full truth.
I think somebody at the operator, who shall not be named, didn't look at the conditions of the race, because it looked as though he might have been 30th or 31st in the order of entry. But what the conditions stated was that horses that had an entry for the Doncaster got pushed up in the ballot. So he was really 19th. When everyone worked that out, he was 15 into $2.80. Some reckless punters may have not even considered that before taking $15.
Can I be Ben for a moment?
Yes.
Can you ask your question again?
Did anyone get $15 on Another Will?
Yes, I did.
Did you?
Yes. But I'm Ben for the purposes of this exercise.
Show us your tickets, Ben.
An $8 pop Southern Tycoon best the rest there at 10, but Another Will on the back of yesterday's performance will be mighty hard to beat.
Just want to take a moment.
Tracker to go with. The majority early were with Stockman, and as a result, up until 5 minutes ago, it was the best backed runner in the race, around that $4.20 mark. But the money's now coming back towards Verona and Circle of Fire, which head to betting. Hopeful at $9.50. Now, we did have as much as $17 available early into $9.50. Double Cherry 50.
To go 2,600 metres, the chairman's quality. Racing now, Mars a bit missed the start, Verona a bit sluggish, and Loft taken back. Now Hopeful's jumped away pretty well together with Double Cherry, and they vie for the lead. Stockman a lot closer today on the outside of Zagallo, followed by Funambulist, who's buried on the rails early on the inside of Verona. Circle of Fire tugging along back in the field. Mars a bit's pulling his head off, and a gap back. Circle of Fire's pulling back in the field. The pace has been fairly sedate, and Circle of Fire's over racing on the outside of Mars a bit, and then came Loft Dan point. 3 lengths clear now from Hofeller. Stockman goes to a clear third from Zagallo. Verona into 5th. Further back to Funambulus from Circle of Fire, who's back 4th last and has been a bit keen in the first half of the race. Then came Mars a bit from So Dazzling, and Loftus still the last one. In this order they go now at the 1,000 metres, and Double Cherry, a last start winner at Wyong, leads by 3 lengths on Hofeller. Then Stockman into a clear third. Further back to Zagallo on the inside of Verona. Funambulus, Circle of Fire next, no moves yet. Then came Mars a bit from So Dazzling, and Loftus been last all of the way. 800 metres to go now, and Double Cherry still 3 lengths clear from Hofeller and Stockman. Now some of the runs starting. Circle of Fire given his head. Verona's given a head as well. Verona goes to 4th. Circle of Fire 5th wide out. Then came Zagallo. So Dazzling tracking into it from Funambulus. Loft to the outside. Marsabit's last on the fence of a bunching field. Double Cherry being joined by Hopeful. Stockman under pressure. Verona whipping up on the outside, and 2 for the back to Circle of Fire. Hopeful moved up now. Hopeful takes a narrow lead at the 300 metres from Double Cherry. Then came Verona. Circle of Fire is trying to knuckle down on the outside. Hopeful in front from Double Cherry. Circle of Fire in the middle of the track. Verona's dropped off. Hopeful at the 100. Hopeful in front. Circle of Fire. He's knuckling down now. Circle of Fire over the top. Circle of Fire gun down. Hopeful and Double Cherry third. Followed by So Dazzling, Stockman. A gap back to Zagallo. Then came Loft from Funambulus. Verona dropped out at the end, second last, and Mars a bit, the roughie, finished last.
Impressive, wasn't he? He really picked up the son of Al Manzoor. We know he's a terrific sire. He can get Derby winners. 4th for the Queen's Vase, Lizzie. I mean, that's really strong Royal Ascot form. And I wonder now whether Kieran will go for the Sydney Cup next week.
Well, it's all within...
Under you, the pick of the yard, so the pick of the yard getting home. No, I loved his last 150 metres, didn't you? And I think, Richo, you might have Kieran with you. That was impressive, mate.
It was really impressive because he over-raced. He did a lot of things wrong early on in the race. Kieran, just describe what was going through your mind as you're watching it.
He's well-credentialed stayer anyway, so hopefully he can sneak in on the minimum.
Well done, mate.
Cheers, and super job by the team. Good ride.
Great stuff.
It was, and Dylan Gibbons rode the Sydney Cup.
Have isolated that galloper. Ducasse at $6 is on the second line. Kintyre $6.50. Les Vampire at $9 with Cafe Millennium there. 10 or more.
Wits End the favourite. They're set. And they're racing. Ground Rush immediately taken back from the wide door, and Les Vampire jumped away sharply. The stablemate the years is pretty handy as well, together with Marali, and Wits End is in the firing line with Ducasse on the rails. There's plenty having a pop here for the lead. Looks like Jacob's time's rolling forward out deep. Well, High Dandy it is. High Dandy's up on the speed, so it's the years just in front from High Dandy, and Les Vampire will have to take a sit now, and Ducasse quickly whipped up on the inside of it, followed by, and Ground Rush sees them all. 7:50 to go, and the years in front by a length and a half to High Dandy. Ducasse third from Les Vampire. Marali the roughie on a 3-wide path. Then came Ajita from Wits End as they go inside the 600 metres now, and Wits End is trying to poke through the middle. Kintyre it's outside. Then came McHale, and Zondi heads the rest into the straight now, and the years coming 3 off the fence, led by 2 on Ducasse. Then came High Dandy. Ajita up the inside with McHale. Les Vampire wider out with Kintyre, making ground in the middle of the ruck now. Firestorm running on at the 250. Ducasse in front by a length. McHale up the inside. Down the outside is Tannhauser is beating up the ground. Ducasse 2 lengths clear from Tannhauser. It's Ducasse in front though, and Ducasse will beat Tannhauser. Kintyre third, Firestorm fourth. Then came McHale. A gap back to Les Vampire from Cafe Millennium. Then Zondi, Gold Bullion, Jakeish third last from Marali, and Ground Rush.
So coming out of really solid Group 1 form, Lizzie, and back to a Group 3 today. Had a good run and was challenged by Tannhauser probably with about 100 to go, but hung on very safely.
Yeah, we should have smelt something.
He's got another race earmarked in the next couple of weeks, and then maybe up to Queensland. And it was 3 and 5. So well done to Emma and Richo. So Richo
was a gate as well. Yeah. Grade and finally draws a gate as well.
Yeah.
For filly by the autumn sun. She's got a lot of size and scope. She's very professional as well, and she's really nice.
Banter has had good support. So even though you can't see it on screen, all in market, we were double figures about good banter. It won't be a great scenario from a tab side of things, but good luck to punters who were on nice and early. Waikato Girl at $8, Ahariri at $8, Private Legacy, maybe the Cello's had some specking, and so too has Bright Red. You can see their 2060 Open now $15. So those two attracting some interest. Before you have a bet, think.
And they're off and racing, and Kenyatta jumped well. Together with Hippie Dreams, Waikato Girl and Kind Words are showing good speed, along with Bush Girl wide out. It's Bush Girl up on the outside at Kind Words. Waikato Girl gets a good spot on the outside at Kenyatta. Heaven Bound goes to fifth, 3 wide in the early part, rolling forward. They're followed then by Harlow Mist is out deeper. Now Autumn Angel's about midfield in the early part. Autumn Angel on the outside at Noble Test. Bright Red's off the course. Out a little bit. Waikato Girl next from Kind Words. Then came Bright Red. They're followed further back by Autumn Angel in the white nose roll. Then Kenyatta and Good Banter right behind. So Good Banter is only a length off the other equal favourite. Ocean Diva on a wide path is going forward here at the 1,000 metres. A gap to Hippie Dream, Bold Test, Concello. Last Straw, Private Legacy. And Ahariri down on the fences among the tail enders. Inside the 800 metres, Bush Girl leads them up from Heaven Bound and Harlow Mist, 3 wide without cover. They're followed then by, on a wider path there, Waikato Girl, Bright Red. Kind Words tucked away over on the rails. Further back then to Autumn Angel is in the middle of the ruck at the moment. She's somewhat cluttered up, Autumn Angel. Good Banter gets going on the outside together with Ocean Diva. Coming around the corner now, and it's Bush Girl in front from Heaven Bound. Harlow Mist under the pump. Then Bright Red. Now pulling out Autumn Angel, and Good Banter's running on really well on the outside. Inside the 300 metres, the runs are coming from everywhere. Good Banter and Autumn Angel wide out. And it's Autumn Angel and Good Banter. They're slogging it out now at the 150. Autumn Angel and Good Banter. Good Banter with a lighter weight, getting the head in front, and Good Banter, the pull and the weight's made the difference. Good Banter beat Autumn Angel. Concello up for third, then Kenyatta, followed further back by Kind Words, Private Legacy, Bush Girl, a gap further back to Ahariri, Hippie Dreams, then came Heaven Bound.
Well, terrific ride by both Mark Zara and Jamie Carr. Look at John O'Shea. He's thrilled, and she's a good filly. She got 8 kgs in the weight, but she was so strong. Jamie Carr hits it right on the head. Richo, down to you. John's done a really good job. Gone back after a good run at Kembla Grange.
He certainly has, and Jamie Carr did the rest. Johnny, you deliberately held her back after Kembla, and she delivered big time there.
Yeah, no, we were hoping to get a bit of juice in the ground, and she got that today, and just thought the pull in the weights might have been enough to get her home. Peter's filly was valiant.
Amazing performance, really, considering the weight. But when we sailed it up,
and you hit it right on the head again today.
Yeah, Emma was really keen on her as well. I just think she's got that lovely staying pedigree. Not only that, she was ridden so well. I thought probably looking at the run of the race would have to be Autumn Angel. She had that massive weight, and it had to come from quite far back. It was just the weight that really got to her in the end.
Absolutely. No one's carried 61 and 1 Adrian Knox before, so that was super.
Speaking of this race has run in the slipper, you think of King's Legacy, Microphone, Animo, Fireburn, Militarised. Now some have won it, like Fireburn, and others have finished down the track, like a Militarised in the slipper. So I think
athleticism, and he's got power, and that's how he presents today. This is a big day for him. If he gets this Group 1, he's signed, sealed, delivered.
So a bit of a tick there in the golden slipper that are running today. Now that the winner's out, Richo, how do you think you'll go?
Just the slightest query in my mind, 1,400 metres with Coleman. I think this guy will definitely run a 1,400 metres on a wet track.
He certainly doesn't look out of place as far as the looks are concerned.
And your top pick, Liz, is the only filly in the race, Manal.
She looks incredible. Held condition, always.
A couple of firms for those at longer odds, but all of the money is with Stormboy, and we've seen it. $2.50 into $2. $2.25 was available 5 minutes ago, now crunched into that $2. And in the world pool, it's much shorter than that, around the $1.85 mark. Manal at $5.50 is steady, but there's 6.5 times more on Stormboy than Manal, and the same can be...
Favourite. To even money. and they're racing. Storm Boys jumped out quite well on the outside. A Node was clearly first out from Duvana, Traffic Warden, and Storm Boy not showing tremendous muster. Caught wide in the early part with Vianara there, Fearless between them. 3 lengths further back to Manal. Then came Duvana, and Coleman's going to settle last of all. So a Node shows the way from Traffic Warden. Prost on the outside in the pale blue cap. The roughy Vinara rails into 4th. Then came Fearless, and Storm Boy is off the track here in a 3-wire position with cover. They're followed further back by Duvana from Manal, and Coleman's last of a bunching field. So I know just in front from Traffic Warden, Prost seeing plenty of daylight. So's Storm Boy. Then came Vianara behind them on the inside of Fearless. Well back then Duvana from Manal, and Coleman is about 4 lengths off the lead last of all. So what a bunch field here in the English sires. And a Node should have a good kick here. It's been a soft lead. A Node swings in front from Traffic Warden. Then came Fearless. Storm Boy's been wide, but now McDonald gives the colt the cue. A Node being tackled by Traffic Warden, 2:50 to go. Then Storm Boy, Fearless, Manal's winding up on the outside, and Coleman as well. Traffic Warden races to the lead. Storm Boy's in trouble. Traffic Warden being joined by Coleman. Manal wide out. It's Traffic Warden. Manal going to Traffic Warden. They're wide apart. They hit it. Oh, Manal's put a bob in. So did Traffic Warden. Tight. Traffic Warden and Manal from Coleman in 3rd. Followed them by Prost, Storm Boy. Further back to Fearless, a Node from second last, Duvana and Vianara.
So which way is it? Did Jason Collett get the right bob, or did Jamie Carr close to the line? Collett pushing, Carr using the whip. They hit the line. Manal gets a noser, and you think she's got it from that. You'd think that the filly has got there. James Cummings, who trains, hoping, but Michael Friedman has had a colossal day, an extraordinary day. Tassort, the sire, gets a real boost, and for Jason Collett, this is really special.
Very, very special, and you have to say, when Michael Friedman hadn't had a winner at the championships, it's what's it called? It rains, it pours. It doesn't rain, it pours. I mean, geez, this horse has been so consistent all the way through. I thought it was an excellent ride. He was able to just ride her so patiently. A lot going on with Storm Boy. Didn't get the great run in transit, and when it really counted, when the chips were down over the 1400, she was able to get the nose down just at the right time.
And the Golden Slipper form stood up. The first 4 from the Golden Slipper run, 1, 2, 3, 4, jumbled up there in terms of who started today, with Lady of Camelot not. So that Golden Slipper form was right. Traffic Warden, Jamie must have thought here, look, I'm probably going to hang on. Coleman, the first challenger, Manal, the late challenger, and got the bob in. What a filly, what a wonderful job Michael has done with this filly. She was a long way back in the 730 grand. His 15 starts outside of Sydney. Golden Eagle, TJ in 2nd, and an Everest. So every time he's come here, he's absolutely hit the jackpot, going for a 2nd TJ today. J Mac to ride. For Imperatriz, does she get a 6th Group 1 in a season? Wink's got 7 once. Black Caviar, one of hers was including Royal Ascot. But they're the names that, since the patterns come in, with 6 Group 1s in a season. That
stepped out was in the Everest, and he came 2nd, and geez, that was a mighty performance on that occasion. Everyone wants to know if he's fit enough and forward enough in condition. To me, he looks spot on. He looks as though he's come into this run really well. He's 3rd up into the campaign. I just feel like he has to go to another level to win the 10-time Group 1 winner. She's got that amazing physique that we've accustomed to see. Lovely dark coat. She seems as though she's in great order. I'm just going to walk a little bit away from her because she's with the pony. They're managing her to keep her nice and settled and relaxed, but
because the key factor for her is the rain-affected track. She is an absolute mutter. She loves it. Now, she commenced her campaign in Australia, and Lizzie thinks that sunshine in Paris can shine today.
I do, Richo. I think she's a very, very good filly, or very good mare.
Cutting the ground, she'll run really well. And so will Chain of really well. And so will Chain of Lightning, and we just saw.
Anything. Let's have a look at this market. Imperatriz is our favourite, and I reckon you'll get a little better than the $3.10. I wish I win at $4.20 on the second line. They are easily the best back too. But the worst result from Tab's side of things is actually Bella Nipotina. There's been a stack of money going that direction. In fact, there's only 2, and they're at 13 and 15 respectively now. Espiona, a drifter. Marzu with the wet probably attracted some money, and Chain of Lightning looking to spoil the party again. 30
today. It's a great test. The great sprinters win this. It has become the really big champion championship race of the autumn for the sprinters. Here we
go. Is the favourite, and we're ready to run. Blindfold off the mare. Racing, she jumped out with them. Marzu's handled the start quite well. This is a good rush for the lead. Bella Nipotina, Coal Crusher there, and Imperatrice settles fourth. Chain of Lightning up the fence. Followed then by Aft Cabin, Sunshine in Paris dressed back. Magic Times there on the rails from Johnny Rocker, and I Wish I Win in a three-wide position, cluttered up. Sunshine in Paris goes back from Willinga Beast. Then came Buenos Noches, and Espiona is last of all. It's Marzu and Coal Crusher. Bella Nipotina splitting the pair in third. Then came Chain of Lightning, Imperatrice on the right spot. Aft Cabin keeping her company, and Zach just moves up on the outside to keep her in a pocket. Imperatrice. I Wish I Win gets onto the back of Aft Cabin, followed then by Johnny Rocker and Magic Time coming into the straight now, and Coal Crusher moved to a narrow lead. Bella Nipotina, it's go time for Bella. Up the inside is Chain of Lightning. Chain of Lightning, the grey, and Bella Nipotina. Magic Time running on. Imperatrice grinding. I Wish I Win is starting to launch his attack, and then came Sunshine in Paris. Chain of Lightning, Bella Nipotina. Chain of Lightning, Bella Nipotina. Chain of Lightning kicking. Chain of Lightning's won the TJ, beating Bella Nipotina, and I Wish I Win. Imperatrice close up. Espiona flashing home, then Sunshine in Paris. Magic Time further back to Johnny Rocker from Willinga Beast. Buenos Noches, a gap to the pacemakers. Marzu, Coal Crusher, and Aft Cabin was last to finish.
So it's Peter Moody and Catherine Coleman who get that Group 1, but it's not where we were probably looking. She hadn't won a race in 12 starts before she won the birthday card. Favoured in the Golden Eagle, remember, a couple of seasons back. And Chain of Lightning today with Frosty Lane for Peter and Catherine, so they get a Group 1 for the first time today. What a race it was, Lizzie. Look left, right and centre. 5 winning chances here with 100 metres to go.
It was a great ride, Bruce. He just put her right on the bunny. He wasn't letting anything get past her. We thought I Wish I Win was going to really rattle home. There was horses from the back as well. Espiona ran a mighty race. You could see that Imperatrice at the top of the straight just wasn't quite comfortable, couldn't quite get out. She got out. She didn't really sort of empty out like we wanted her to, but she's just in terrific form, and he's a jockey on an absolute high, Damien Lane.
Peter wins a 4th one. Of course, Black Caviar with a couple, of course. But absolutely.
Peter as well. He's had so many horses with the family, and I'm sure that Peter Moody will be absolutely ecstatic.
An extra little kick along there, Richo.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. Pete just saying, okay, working for the old TJ. What a beauty to win again.
Mate, phenomenal, isn't it? It wasn't quite the one I thought. I was looking at Wish team steaming down the outside, but mate, a beautiful moment. Stewie and Trish Ramsey, they've been my foundation clients. We go back 30-odd years, and to win that for him, that's unbelievably special, mate. And like I say...
First run in 1866. The Doncaster is perhaps the most famous mile race in Australia.
Racing in the Doncaster.
The Randwick 1600 metre with an honour roll including wings.
Here's 9 in a row. She breaks all the records today. She's a champion.
Sunline.
Sunline's in front. Shogun Lodge tries to pick her up. The great mare fights. She hangs on.
And dual winners Mr Brightside and Superimpose, who famously shouldered a whopping 59.5 kilograms to victory.
Superimpose is mowing down Liverstone Lane. Superimpose has done it again.
TJ Smith and daughter Gay Waterhouse are both synonymous with the race, each with 7 wins.
And this mighty mare, More Joyous, goes on to win it from shootout.
We all know how talented he is, but he's just hasn't had things go his way. Setbacks, gates, it just has not been perfect. He's now at the mile. This is the important time. Is he a miler? Is he a horse that we know can sprint well fresh? It's interesting.
So impressive.
Oh, it was a...
What about Obad Burmai, James? The Golden Eagle was so impressive.
Oh, it was a huge win, and he come from the clouds that day. I expect the same here. He looks like he's furnished beautifully too.
No, he does look. Only 2 horses have won the size and come back and won a Doncaster at 3 years of age. Taunton and way back, and the Assertive Lad about 20 years ago. So it's hard to do, but he looks like you like him. What about Detonator Jack? A lot of money for him this week, Richo.
Yeah, well, especially when the track was on a heavy 10 range, Kira Ma would have absolutely
time compared to last week. He was really fired up. He didn't relax at all, and you can see now he's a lot more relaxed than he was the last time out. He's still full of nervous energy. He's a lovely, big, strong, athletic horse. And
Tick. James, you know Celestial Legend really well. I reckon you spotted him as a very young horse, and you might have mentioned it to me one day.
I'm not a fan of him at the moment. So he knocked us off in the Randwick Guineas, but God, he's just been beautifully handled and got him with such an unbelievable lightweight. And I sit in the jockey's room with Tyler, and he looks really good at that lightweight. So you've got a strong jockey on a good horse and a talented one of that. Jockey on a good horse and a talented one of that.
Nugget Richo, so good in this race last year.
Hi, superb. He was placed there as We Are the Champions.
Doncaster winners, but popular, no doubt. There's not much between that horse, Another Will, and Celestial Legend in terms of the hold. When you consider 1,370 and 1,650, you'd say the money lead there is with Les Bridges' runner. Oban Burmai, $8.50, didn't attract much interest when it came to the Golden Eagle either, and it's kind of dried up today. Militarize has been popular, $9.50. Lady Laguna, 11. The track scaring a few off there. Democracy Manifest has been a firmer, and Kovalika and Co at 21 or more. But there has been specking for Hinged, and even Pericles there was some early. What do you really...
There is not a better mile anywhere in the world. Here's Darren Flindle.
They're set. And the big field are on their way. Another Will's jumped out of the gates quite nicely. Palmetto there. Another Will goes forward together with Pericles. And Fearson showing plenty of muster wide out. They're followed by Militarized handy with Lady Laguna, Navajo Peak just behind the leading Clump Court wide. Further back then to Nugget. From Obam Buramai pushing through. Lindeman's wider out, then Detonator Jack, Berkshire Shadow. 2 lengths away to Lock Eagle. Celestial Legend's going to settle well back in the field. 2 lengths to Kovalika from Democracy Manifest. Rustic Steel is last. Fearson from Gate 19 crossed them. He's going to lead easily. It's Fearson out by 2 or 3 lengths from Think About It and Another Will. Racing in second and third, followed by Navajo Peak 3 wide, followed then by Pericles on the outside of Militarize. A length further back to Lady Laguna from Obam Buramai. Hinged is off the course, followed then by Palmetto towards the inside. Nugget in the white cap starting a wider run. Lindemann out deep. Well back Berkshire Shadow. Detonator Jack in the yellow jacket coming off the fence. Celestial Legend starting to track into it as they come around the corner. And Think About It moves up to Fearson. Another Will is cruising up on the outside, and now Carset going Another Will going after Think About It. Pericles stays on well. Over on the inside it's Militarized launching his attack, and further back to Obam Buramai. Up the inside Militarized, wide out Pericles and Militarized fighting it out for the moment. Nugget bursting through, and here he is, Celestial Legend bombing them wide out. Celestial Legend won the Doncaster, nailing I think Pericles or Militarized. Then came Nugget. Further back to Detonator Jack, Another Will, Think About It, Palmetto, Obam Buramai from Hinge, Lock Eagle, Kovalika. Then came Lindemann from Rustic Steel, Navajo Peak, Fearson, Lady Laguna. Did someone say KFC? Tyler Schiller has just won the Doncaster.
He has just won the Doncaster. You said he'd have a strong jockey. Les Bridge 40 years ago had 101 winner of the Doncaster. He gets another today. How good was this, J-Mac?
Have a look at the stroppest vision of his ride here. That was sensational. Fearless as anything, slicing through, and he obviously had the horse with a lightweight, talented 3-year-old. What a win.
Oh, what a horse. Eh?
What a horse. Wow. That was exciting.
Is this boy a bit special, this Tyler Schiller?
Yeah, he is. He's cool, calm, collected. He can ride that unbelievably lightweight, which is obviously a feather in his cap, but he's so level-headed. Nothing fazes him, and he deserves all the success he can get because that was a 10 out of 10 ride. That was an incredible ride.
We're going to let you go. You've got to ride the favourite in the Derby very shortly.
Jeez, I hope I can replicate a ride like that.
I reckon you can. We've got
James,
faith in you.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Thank you so much. What an insight you've been able to give us in the last 20 minutes, Lizzie. Oh, what a special one, eh? A 3-year-old Les Bridge, 40 years after 101 pop, Tyler Schiller doing all the big stuff. How good was that?
How good. And you know what, Les Bridge said? This is my best horse, the best horse I've ever trained, and we should have listened to him because he looks like he is the best horse he's ever trained, and he's trained some very, very smart gallopers.
It was a great...
You know what the key to this guy is he held him up for as long as possible, and he was the strongest at the end of that really tough Randwick mile.
And right on the line, it felt like a domination by this 3-year-old colt. So the world absolutely at his feet. It takes special 3-year-olds to win a Doncaster mile. We know they get in with lightweights. And Les Bridgebridge, the way he has absolutely handled this horse to perfection to get him to pick it. Pericles second in the Golden Eagle and second in the Doncaster mile, and Militarised third. Down to you, Richo.
40 years ago you won one of these. You've told us how special this horse is. Well done, mate.
I'll see you later. One of my best mates.
And everyone's so pleased for you, mate.
Yeah.
Describe what was going through your mind when you saw him just held up.
I don't know what. I just didn't think he could win. That's all. And he just got out, and he's just unbelievable.
You've said that he's the best horse that you've trained. When you're in the Hall of Fame, that's saying something.
Yeah, well, what more can he do?
Yeah.
For 3-year-olds in this era to win a Doncaster, when they got the suppressed weights and all these good horses are so close to him in the weights, that was the only thing that sort of made me worry a bit. When you get, I'm old-fashioned. You get these good, tough horses with the compressed weights, but this horse is just terrific.
Yeah. What's he like to deal with?
Got down to the weight, you did it safely, you did it strongly, and now you're a Doncaster winner, mate. Congratulations.
It's so worth it. I'm absolutely knackered after it, but I can't thank Les and Mr. Ho, the owners, connections, everyone that's had something to do with the horse. They've got him here perfect. I've got the lightweight, and God, he was so brave. He went through a gap that I wouldn't usually take, but a Doncaster means a lot, and to do it for Les and his team, it's terrific.
You rode him.
Now known as the ATC Australian Derby, the 2,400-metre Group 1 for 3-year-olds has been won by champions of all eras, including Farlap, Tulloch and Kingston Town, who in 1980 provided TJ Smith with a record 9th derby.
Kingston Town racing away from Mr. Independent.
Fellow Cox Plate legends Dulcify, Bone Crusher and Octagonal also left their mark on the race. Kiwi Murray Baker has won the race 5 times, including with Star Colt, It's a Done Deal in 2013. And in 2020...
Incredible names over the years have had their hands on this famous trophy, the Australian Derby, well named. You look at that move in 79, if you look at Victoria Derby winners, Rosehill Guineas winners and ATC Derby winners, Octagonal and also Kingston Town and Naturalism was second 1-1. Only Dulcify's done the 3, and that's what Riff Rock is trying to do today.
And what an incredible horse Dulcify was, and he famously won a Cox Plate by 6 or 7 lengths and then broke down in a Melbourne Cup. You know how
he's come on really well from that last start performance, and that bodes really well and actually pretty bad for his rivals today. We've just had J-Mac in the studio.
I think you'll go really well. I'm going to be cool, calm like Tyler and burst through.
Good luck.
Oh, gee, he was a bit plain last start. I think he's so much better at Randwick. I think he's a Randwick horse. Track suits him. He won the fit. And this guy is going to be really hard to beat because he is a tough stayer.
Do you like the look of him, Lizzie Chow Wolf?
Riff Rocket is certainly popular, most popular with punters, and still our favourite around that $2.20 mark. Tom Kitten has attracted some interest, $6.50 now, was $9 at one point today and bottomed out at $6. Y-Mark at $6.50, Chaya Wolf at $7.50, having peaked at $11. Immediacy 50 has touched on $34. Noisy Boy, you guys touched on $34. Hooligan
is ahead of them. Racing now, Zen Master squeezed out at the start, and off the inside Gambare jumped well. Glad You Think So given a wind up, and Y-Mark's going forward together with Adagio, so the pace all right early. Capara settles 5th in advance of Tom Kidd, and then came Chaya Wolf Immediacy. Bow from the inside, Noisy Boy, the favourite Riff Rocket, 3rd last from Zen Master, and Hooligan Tommy's last of all. So Glad You Think So is going to gallop them to the front at the 2,000. Glad You Think So in front here in the hands of Rachel King, led lead by 2. 2 Waimark and Gambara, and Adagio in 4th position, peeling 3 wide now at this point. So Regan Bayliss is taking closer order. The stablemate Gambara is locked up behind them, so Adagio rolls forward now and will sit outside Glad You Think So. Waimark retains cover now in 3rd position, clear from Gambara. Then came Immediacy, Tom Kidd in midfield the fence, a length and a half to Cap Ferrar. Then came Noisy Boy, a length further back to Chaya Wolf Master. The hot favourite Riff Rocket is still second last at this point, and 2 lengths away to Hooligan Tommy. 1,000 to go now. Glad You Think So leads by 2 lengths. Adagio, who improved his position at the halfway mark, is a clear second now. 3 lengths away to Waimark. The pace is pretty genuine here. They're well strung out. Gambara in 4th. Now Hieronymus off the fence there on Tom Kitten, trying to improve at this point. And on the outside is Immediacy, just keeping him in a pocket. Then Noisy Boy from Cap Ferrar, Chaya Wolf, and Riff Rocket's going up the inside, so he's going to need a bit of luck, the favourite, as they come around the turn. Glad You Think So, 2 lengths clear from Adagio. A gap back then to Waimark under plenty of pressure. Then came Gambara. Riff Rocket slicing through the pack. He's got the run now, good enough. Glad You Think So, a dominant leader at the 250, but Riff Rocket's eating up the ground, and here's Chaya Wolf. Chaya Wolf wide out, coming with a big run. Riff Rocket through the middle. Chaya Wolf wide out. It's Riff Rocket and Chaya Wolf in a great derby finish. Riff Rocket, Chaya Wolf, nothing in this. Riff Rocket just in front, clings on. Riff Rocket beat Chaya Wolf. Glad You Think So, 3rd, then Tom Kitten. Then came Immediacy from Waimark, Cap Ferrar. A gap back to Noisy Boy, Gambara, Adagio, and a long back break to the roughies there. Zen Master and Hooligan Tommy. He's done it. Riff Rocket.
And he joins that special...
Riff Rocket.
And he joins that special group that have won the Derby in Melbourne and the Derby in Sydney since 1979, when they're that all. Only 4 of them, but he's only the 2nd horse with Dulcify to win 3 really big 3-year-old races. 2 Derbies and a Rosehill Guineas. It was a J-Mac special, wasn't it?
Well, he's had his hand forced, didn't he? He got absolutely crunched coming out of the gates, and he had to go back to second last, but this was what we loved about him. He sliced through the field, didn't go round a horse, went through the middle. I think he took a little bit of inspiration from Tyler's ride in the Donkaroo the middle. I think he took a little bit of inspiration from Tyler's ride in the Doncaster, and I reckon he's matched that performance.
Well, he gets and get equals Gay Waterhouse with 160 Group 1s. He's an outstanding horse, Riff Rocket. And Richo, that was some race, some ride, and what a win.
It was a thrilling derby. It was a brilliant ride, and for Chris Waller...
He's amazing. He's slipping and sliding. You know, came out of the barrier. He wasn't comfortable. To do that when you're not comfortable over that distance, it is so exciting. It's just wonderful to have
all over the place. He didn't look comfy, but he's a serious horse.
Tell you what, I'm going to have to come up and watch Doncasters more often with you guys. I got inspired by Tyler's ride. I thought...
That Victoria Derby, maybe on raw ability and maybe not his ability to stay out a strong 1.5 miles, but that was epic.
Yeah, well, it's definitely not his trip, that's for sure. He was out on his feet, but toughness, he doesn't know how to run bad race. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He's as solid as a rock, this horse, and you'd love him at war with you.
You get to 93.
You'd love him at war with you.
You get to 93.
On Monday, but 5 years ago on this day, I'm not sure we've been to a better day's racing in Australia. We knew it was her last run, Winx's final run here at Royal Randwick in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. Blue and white to be here and watch it. So on Monday, lot 391, the first of her daughters, in fact, the only living foal of hers so far, put under the hammer at Inglis, and the rest as we...
For opening this filly. 2 million, thank you. I'm in 2 million. 2.5. 2.5 million. 3 million in front at $3 million down. 5 million. Thank you very much. I've got 5 million. 5.5 million. 6 million. The daughter of our legendary Winx. 7.5 million I have. 8 million. $8 million. What do you say, Harry? 9 million. 10 million. These opportunities do not come along very often. Once in a lifetime at $10 million. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the hammer comes up at $10 million for the daughter of Winx. Last chance. Done. Godspeed. Whoppet Bloodstock, thank you very much, buys for $10 million. The filly stays in Australia. Thank you very much for the competition. Great to have you all here.
I am privileged to have been able to secure this filly on behalf of my family. to be able to hopefully see if she can get to the racetrack. If she can't get to the racetrack, she'll be an amazing mum. She's Australian forever, and she's going to be just fabulous.
So, Richo, it's not like winning a third Melbourne Cup or Winks winning 4 Cox Plates, but it's one of the big moments in Australian racing.
It was incredible. Em and I were there.
All of that. Richo, so Lady of Camelot runs in a Percy Sykes. So Golden Slipper winners, they don't run in the Percy Sykes. It's the first time that we've seen a Golden Slipper winner contest the Percy Sykes.
And it is because of the injection of prize money into the Percy Sykes, suddenly a Golden Slipper winner says, I might race against my own sex now for $1 million+. What a race it's going to be.
Our worst case scenario, and it's hovered around that $3 mark for much of the morning. $2.40 was the open, but briefly hit $3.20 at one point, back to that $3 quote. Anisa, $5.50 the open into $4.60. Amina, $7.50 to Fly $15. Castagna, $21 and $23 or more the rest, with no notable.
Ready to go. Stand by for the Percy Sykes. 1,200 metres and the gates are back now. They're off and racing, and Two Darn Lizzie jumped well. So did Lady Zodiac wide out. Quickly on the scene, Divine Force and drifting, whipping through her. Then Diddle Dumpling from Anisa, and the favourite Lady of Camelot parks behind in a 3-wide position. Clear from Erno's Cube. Amina going up the fence on the inside of More Territories. A couple further back to Empress of Japan with Fly or Morzillo. A length Castagna got on heels, and Nymphadora's last of all. So Drifting's gone up the fence, racing to a narrow lead from the roughy Lady Zodiac, followed then by Divine Force. Diddle Dumpling back on the inside of Two Darn Lizzie. Further back to Anisa. Lady of Camelot at about 6 coming to the turn. More Territories ridden up the fence, and then came Erno's Cube as they come around the corner. It's Drifting and Lady Zodiac. Diddle Dumpling being pushed on, and Divine Force got a nasty check there. Anisa's going to dart back towards the inside, and Lady of Camelot down the outside. Drifting. Anisa's rattling home on the inside, and now Lady of Camelot. She's driving. Anisa the inside. Lady of Camelot. Anisa took the shortcut, and Anisa beats Lady of Camelot. Camera third. Erno's Cube just from Morzillo. A cracking runner. Then Diddle Dumpling from More Territories. Two Darn Lizzie, and Amina closing off at the end. Then Van.
So Lane versus Shin over the last 100 metres, the two great jockeys from Victoria. Lizzie, 4 kg swinging the weights. She deserves a big win, this filly. Thought Lady of Camelot was terrific.
She was so brave, but you just knew that that weight was going to really pay against her, and the fact that she drew the sticky gate as well, whereas Anisa was able to have a lovely, comfortable run in behind the speed, come out at the right time and find the line beautifully. I said they might get their money back. I was right.
Yeah, 100% right. Exceeding the over the stretch. Really good race, though. I thought Camelot, good ride by Shin with the big weight. Great ride by Lane. Moody, Coleman, Lane have been quite lethal here at the championships. Let's go down and join Richo. What a week it's been for this combination.
An incredible week for you and also for Catherine.
Always great to be here. We the Victorian, the New South Welshmen robbed the Victorians in spring, and we have pleasure robbing them in the autumn.
It's official. He's a victor.
There's 3 times more on Osmosis than the second best backed, but just on the second favourite, it is now Arkansas Kid, $12 into $6, halving its quote. But in terms of weight of money, it's definitely going the way of the one. Jolie Star at $6, Schwartz at, and you can see the remainder on your screen.
The Arrowfield Sprint, 1,200 metres. Osmosis the favourite, and they're racing, and Osmosis jumped out cleanly. The instructor ridden for tremendous speed. The novelist there, Red Resistance as well, wide out. Now Osmosis striding up on the inside of Raikoki handy, and then came Libertad. Arkansas Kid as Red Resistance drifts back through the field. Schwartz about midfield, improving from Hedge, then Jolie Star, Corniche. Mumbai Muse last of all. The instructors working hard, trying to get across from the stablemate, the novelist, and now the pair go stride for stride. Raikoki out deep goes to third. Schwartz improving on the inside of Osmosis. A length and a half then to Libertad from Arkansas Kid. Red Resistance on a wide path. Jolly Star well back as they come around the turn. The novelist just hanging a little bit from the instructor the outside. Then came Schwartz, who's eyeing off an inside run but might run out of room. Osmosis given the cue. Libertad given the cue down the outside. Osmosis takes the lead now. A narrow leader. Jolly Star slicing through the pack from Libertad, and Hedge with the last shot at them. Jolly Star taken to the front. Hedge the outside is coming hard. Jolly Star and Hedge. Jolly Star and Hedge. They hit it. Jolly Star a nose to Hedge. Photo for third as well. Libertad, Corniche and Arkansas Kid. Then came Swartz. Osmosis ran out of puff. Then came Red Resistance from Mumbai Muse, the instructor, and a gap back to the novelist and Raikoki. Photo finish.
And at a filly since 2018, Catchy, a Blue Diamond winner, won this race. But that was a super ride by Jamie Carr. It is a photo. It just looks like she's hung on. It's over the horse. Hedge coming. They hit it. And surely, yes, Jolie Star wins for Chris Waller, who's won. And to win first up for this race, Cornish was, look at him, set two from the back. To win first up, Chris Waller, what a training performance yet again, Lizzie.
Yeah, with a filly as well, which is so important. I spoke to you about them in the yard. You have to really sort of adjust your looks when you look at a filly, because she's not as powerful and as big and as robust, but she's just looked fit and ready to go.
Osmosis. In front of him is riding Zardozi here. Tell us about the VRC and ATC Oaks double.
Well, quality fillies with 3 Group 1 wins in a row. She's got that real staying look about her. She's angular. She doesn't carry a...
Your own conclusions. Can't believe the price that Zardozi is here, Bruce.
Lizzie, could she find a length and a half?
Look, I'm not sure as far as how much loved the way that she was able to present, and she put up such a fight. She wasn't able to get the better of good banter, but there was a huge weight swing in that performance. I think that she looks to me as though she's hitting the note at the right time. She's come on nice.
Orchestral, the lay of the day, and punters who've just launched in. 64% of the hold is going the way of Orchestral. There is 5 times more than the next best backed, which is Autumn Angel. Zardozi after that, and then we've got a big gap back.
For the Star Australian Oaks, 2,400 metres ahead of them. Racing now. The favourite Orchestral was one of the last out with Autumn Angel and Zardozi. All the popular ones a bit tardy, and Bush Girl bounded out of the gates in front. Showing a bit of speed there is Quintessa towards the inside, and Dances with Who's are starting to muster. Tutar Levita's going into a prominent position as well. Followed by True Fairy on the inside of Orchestral, is up running 5th now. 2 lengths further back to Basilina. A similar margin to Autumn Angel from Piplup, and Zardozi's going to settle at the tail of the field. So about a dozen lengths covers the field now, and it's Bush Girl at the 1,400 metres by 2 lengths. In second position, the roughie Dances with Who's. So big odds the first 2, Quintessa into a clear third. Several lengths further back to True Fairy on the inside at Tutar Levita. So the pace has been certainly genuine enough. There's been no need for any moves there at the 1,200 metres. Orchestral's back 5th last from Autumn Angel. Then came Basilina, Zardozi slightly improving, and now Piplup is the last one. So they race to the side of the course now at the 1,000 metres, and Bush Girl ensuring a good tempo. Out by 3 lengths on Dances with Who's. Quintessa third. Then Tutar Levita on the outside of True Fairy. Orchestral still travelling sweetly in the second half of the field, just waiting to be given her cue. A gap further back to Autumn Angel is right back on the inside of Basilina. Then Zardozi and Piplup last of all. The margin between top end to tail extends now. Bush Girl 3 lengths clear, approaching the corner. Bush Girl from Dances with Who's. Quintessa. Tutar Levita gets going, and Orchestral pulls right to the outside. 5 off the lead. Bush Girl's given a good sight up front. She's coming back to them quickly, and now Orchestral with Quintessa winding up. Zardozi with a good run wide out, and Autumn Angel's coming off heels. Orchestral got to the front at the 200. Under siege from Zardozi and Autumn Angel through the middle. Zardozi and Autumn Angel. Orchestral needs to left. Autumn Angel getting the upper hand, and Autumn Angel won the Australian Oaks, beating Zardozi and Orchestral. Quintessa 4th, followed by Tutar Levita. A gap back in the field to Basilina from Bush Girl, True Fairy, Piplup and Dances with Wolves.
What a carnival for Moody and Coleman. Zara this time. It was an Oaks for the ages. They all had their hopes. Good on Bush Fairy. She put on a gallop, Bush Girl I should say, put on a gallop that gave everybody their chance. Here, J-Mac's happy. Look at Zara. He gets the back of J-Mac. Zardozi, Mark 1 working. She's coming in. And this, Lizzie, is the moment where Zara knows that he's in with the fight.
He was the most patient one. That was the simple story in the end. He stayed back out of those horses, really lurching in, and gave gave her one last opportunity to hit the line from Mark Zahra. He's sort of, his hand is forced because he's back behind that speed. James has made his move. Then you also see Tom making his move around the outside. But absolutely incredible performance, not only from the horse, but also from the team.
Richo, this is some training performance. The backup, what a win.
An incredible win, Gary. Congratulations. That must be a huge thrill to back her up and win an Oaks.
Yeah, she's done that well all week. When Mark got on, I said, I'm terrified I haven't done enough with her. She was bucking and playing down in the pre-parade, but...
Bang, bang, bang. And for the Autumn Sun, Lizzie, that is an historic moment for the Arrowfield Stallion.
Yeah, first Group 1 for the Autumn Sun. We all know how wonderful he was, and he's probably taken a little bit of time.
He can ride light. So what are the stories?
Up, Athabaskan was around the $10 mark, Circle of Fire $4.80. Now we have equal favourites at $6, Athabaskan and Circle of Fire. Ash Run out to $7.50, Glentanius at $10, Serpentine at $11, trimming in from $12. Amaid at $11. What a story that was, of course, then from $23. And then Colourpore, who's been in good form, $8.50 out to $12. Of those at longer odds, I wouldn't say there's been great specking for any. Manzois isn't.
Here we go, the Sydney Cup. And they're off and racing. Oh, one's flopped out of the gates. A clear last was a maid. A maid is 10 lengths out the back, and Major Bill, last year's Derby winner, jumped brilliantly. Colourpore away nicely in second, and Maharajan goes forward out deep on the outside of Manzois. Then came Serpentine, who's a few lengths off the lead in the early part and is going between runners. Stockman it's outside. Circle of Fire's firing up a little bit in the early stages, followed by Glentanius buried down on the right. Dual New Zealand Cup winner over 2 miles, Maharajan in a very handy third in advance of Manzois, and then came Colourpore fifth. Now the favourite Circle of Fire's on a 3-wide path has been keen in the early stages, so Andrea Razzeni allows the favourite to slide forward. Circle of Fire, Serpentine getting close to heels, one off the fence. Athabaskan in the dark blue cap, the Major Bill shaking off Stockman now, going to the mile mark, and Major Bill's got the lead on his own now by 2.5 to Stockman. Maharajan into a clear third as they work down the back of the course now. Circle of Fire puts his head into 4th position on the outside of Manzois, then Colourpore. Now further back then to Athabaskan, who's on a wider path, gradually improving. They're followed further back to Glentanius, who's down towards the inside running rail, and the inside is Serpentine. 2 lengths further back to Loft on the inside of Ash Run. Then came Selena, who won the Sydney Cup here 3 years ago. It's parked down on the inside is So Dazzling. Then Mostly Cloudy from a maid, and Military Mission is still last of all. The Sydney Cup field thundered away the race started, and it's Major Bill in front by 3/4 to Stockman, followed by Circle of Fire edging into a clear third, but in a 3-wide position. Then Manzois, Maharajan in between runners. Athabaskan 3-wide with a bit of cover. Further back to Colourpore, buried down on the inside of Serpentine. Further back to Ash Run now. Rachel King starting a runner, Mostly Cloudy out wide of the 600 metres. Lofters going between runners as they come up to the home turn now. Major Bill in front by 1.5 lengths. Manzois travels up nicely on the inside. Circle of Fire looping. Athabaskan's chiming in. Further back to Serpentine. Ash Run, Mostly Cloudy down the outside. It's Circle of Fire tackled by Athabaskan. A length off to Serpentine. Circle of Fire, Athabaskan. Now Colourpore's running on the inside, but Circle of Fire with a strong kick. 100 out. Circle of Fire beating off Athabaskan, and Circle of Fire for Andrea Razzeni takes out the Sydney Cup. Won it by 2.5 to Athabaskan. Photo third, probably Colourpore in front of Serpentine. A gap back to Selena, Mostly Clouding. A good gap then to Ash Run, followed by a maid who's beat about half the field home at the end from Loft. So Dazzling, then Stockman, Glenn.
He did not. What a run. We have seen a special staying performance. He covered a lot of ground. Andrea Razzeni at times must have thought to himself, am I too wide? I'm sure Kira Ma was thinking a little bit about it. Having his 10th start only in a race. Lizzie, this was the performance of a superior stayer.
Bruce, you've summed it up perfectly. We were watching the race and saying, surely he can't keep going. Surely surely he's not going to be able to cover that much ground. His first try at the trip, over racing at the early part of the race, but he's just got so much class. And for him to kick away, he kicked away from horses that got a really quiet run. Oh, what have we seen? We might have seen something very, very special.
Yeah, well, performance. He's over-raced. He's done so many things wrong. You might have unveiled a really elite staying talent there, mate. Well done.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Fitting this week, Andrea's just such good mates with Stefano. You know, his family's here, and he flew out here 2 or 3 times. And, yeah, the horse, oh, God, he was unbelievable.
This is my first time riding in Sydney, and I've been here 3 times in the last 3 weeks. First 2 times, unfortunately, not for good reason. First time I went to Canberra to see Stefano while he was still with us, and I spent about 15 hours with him. And then I left because I was obviously riding in Hong Kong.
The autumn feature has an elite club of 3-time winners. That includes Carbine, Tulloch and Winks, all household names in their respective eras.
Breaking their hearts.
Might and Power left his mark on the 2,000 metre weight for age Group 1 in 1998.
Might and Power making them look like second raters down to the line, 9 lengths, I'd say.
Mare, but some would say she might be more brilliant than both Adea and Dubai Honour.
She's got a better record, Richo, a better record than both of them coming into this race.
Is she as tough in a really solid 2,000 metres?
And he is, well, loves Randwick, doesn't he? The 2 Doncaster wins. He's now in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. Probably not going as well.
Could Cascadian go to another level, Richo? You were all over him in the Australian Cup.
Oh, he's just a marvel, isn't he? He races really well, Bruce, here at Randwick. He's won 5 from 21 at Randwick, and he's won 3 of 5.
Is he a Derby winner last year in Queensland? Kovalika hasn't won since.
He's the sneaky. He looks a lot better than he did in his first couple of runs. I thought he...
RA plate, but she's a totally different mare now. Just one comment that resonates in my ear is A, Kieran Mark keeps telling me how much he's improving, and B, Peter Moody with his theory of the second time a horse like this runs at 2,000 metres.
At the start of this preparation, this is her second run in Australia, and looking at her, she looks to me as though she's actually come on a little bit from that last start performance. She's such a...
Loved her, and at $12 this morning I made her a Richo Ruff. It'd be interesting to see what the fixed price is for her, because if it is a really strong 2,000 metres, which we expect with Pride of Jenny in the race, this is the girl that will get certainly a bit
skinny now. And just on this market, there have been a few anomalies there that are just correcting themselves. One was Pride of Jenny being around the $4 mark when we opened, and Cascadian, who beat Pride of Jenny last start, being $8.50 over the same trip, albeit going the different direction there down south. Mr. Brightside, well, you have to say the $8.50 is priced on reputation, because off last start you couldn't possibly have Mr. Brightside shorter than Cascadian, but his record here is great. Plus, the Carousel is...
Racing now, and Pride of Jenny jumped brilliantly towards the inside. Pride of Jenny in front, Mr. Brightside being sent forward on the outside. And Plaster Carousel goes straight to third. Then came Zayrek, followed by Kovalik at Chaya Wolf. Now Buckaroo settles back in the field in front of the favourite Via Sistina. The 9-year-old Cascadian's last of all. So Pride of Jenny a long leader in the early part. About 4 or 5 lengths in front. Mr. Brightside went forward from the outside, and he's happy to sit in a long slipstream of Pride of Jenny. She's already off and gone at the 1,400 metres. She opens up by 8 lengths. Mr. Brightside wants to sit back and conserve his energy in second. 3 lengths away, Plaster Carousel, followed then by Zayrek. Further back to Kovalik, and then the lone 3-year-old Chaya Wolf. Via Sistina, the short price favourite, is third last from Buckaroo, and Cascadian, impossibly his last day of racing, is last of all. Well, Pride of Jenny, we expected her to lead by a long way, but seriously, 30 lengths? This is unbelievable. Pride of Jenny with sustained speed going to the 800 metres. I've never seen a horse this far in front in a Group 1.
Pride of Jenny, the best part of 25 lengths clear. Mr. Brightside Willow just wants to sit back for the time being, then Plaster Carousel the outside. Further back to Zayrek Kovalika, followed by Chaya Wolf, Via Sistina, Buckaroo and Cascadians last of all. This is unbelievable. Pride of Jenny about 30 lengths in front in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. She keeps going, coming up the rise. At the moment, Mr. Brightside is being challenged by Kovalika, and then came Buckaroo, Via Sistina. She's winding up. She's getting to second, but Pride of Jenny at the 200. My goodness, 15 in front. Declan Bates goes for the whip, riding a ride out. There's no need. This is a demolition job. Pride of Jenny in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. My, oh my. Via Sistina second, Mr. Brightside third, Cascadian fourth, then Kovalika, Buckaroo, Plaster Carousel, Chaya Wolf, and Zayrek, the ride of the century, Declan Bates.
Never seen anything like it, and Darren's seen a lot, and none of us have ever seen anything like it. It was unbelievable. She was nearly a furlong in front at one stage. That straight must have felt like an eternity for Declan. He knew they would come at some stage, but they never, ever got close to her. It is one of the most remarkable performances ever seen on any track in the history of Australian racing.
You could hear Darren Flindell saying, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. And we were saying exactly the same. Does she run 2,000 metres? By gum, she runs 2,000 metres. And that was a very, very brave ride there from Declan Bates. He often gets a little bit of criticism, but to see how far back, they were in two different races.
It's just extraordinary. And the horses behind her, Via Sistina, Mr. Brightside, Cascadian. We're talking about the best of the best. It's one of the most astonishing performances. The difference in 1 year between this mare, I don't think we've ever seen a 5 to a 6-year-old improve anything like this. She's the horse of the year. I don't care what happens now. She is the horse of the year for 2023-24. That's the performance of a lifetime.
Unbelievable. To think that she has made that much improvement. We've heard from the stable how she'd put on a lot of condition in that break, but also a master stroke from Kira Ma to be able to get her to this point in her career. I echo the thoughts of what Peter Moody said. That second run at the 2,000 metres is when you really know whether they can run it out strongly. And she just puts horses in a completely different hemisphere. She puts them into the pain barrier and they cannot keep up with her.
The overall time's not crazy quick, which is quite interesting, but Jason, we have just seen something that is going to live with us forever.
We will never forget that, Kieran. Bruce described it as the best thing he said on a racecourse. That's the performance of a lifetime by her.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I knew she'd get better, you know, the more she raced at 2,000. My God, that was mind-boggling to know a horse could even do that. Like, she ran 11.1. I reckon it was about the mile.
Were you when you saw that 11.1? Were you thinking, "Oh gosh, you've gone too quick, Deck"?
No, well, you know, I never doubt Deck. She must have given him some amazing feel, and just full credit to him, Tony and Lynn. And, you know, to have the Norris to do that, you know, incredible. I can't thank my team enough, and Tony and Lynn.
Never led by that before.
Nice rhythm with each other. I asked her to come back. She'll come back a bit, but today she came out, and when the ones outside come to her just over that first 100, she grabbed a bit and she didn't drop it. She didn't drop it at any point. I was worried. I was actually concerned. I thought we're doing a bit too much. And she was even a bit fronty pre-race. So to be honest, until we hit that line, I wasn't too happy at all today until it was done. But you know, horses shouldn't be able to do that, what she's done today, you know.
You're a sectional master.
Generally, once we're doing it nice and smooth, I'm aware. But today, I just know we're going quicker than I wanted. So it's just a matter of come back. And she said, "Nah, I'm gone," and she knows better.
She's your horse of your lifetime in a way, because the way that she...
A little bit taller than I actually am, but she has got one hell of a motor when she's able to wind up. We know she enjoys Randwick. We know and she's going to be pretty hard to beat.
Good tick there, Richo. The stablemates have got you.
Well, they're both drawn absolutely perfectly, haven't they, Bruce? I'll ask you, who's tougher?
Jump time, because a tissue is trimming in at every call, currently $3.60. There's every chance a tissue will jump favourite here. Tropical Squall at $7, Alencia at $12, just drifting out from that $9.50. Samana $14, Macarena trimming in from that $26 quote to that.
It's named the Queen of the Turf. Here we go, the fourth of the Group 1s today on Championship Day.
There's the light. Racing now. And Arctic Glamour was last out, and Tropical Squall, as usual, bounded out of the gates and is going to lead for fun. Samana strides up on the outside, going to second from Zoo Gotcha. Now, Whiteout Osmos being sent forward in advance of Macarena, who's 3 horses wide in the early part. They're followed by Campionessa out deep. More Secrets, the rails, and a tissue is pushing right between runners in the early stages. They're followed then by Arctic Glamour, has gone down to the rails from Eternal Flame. Ruthless Dame out deep. Further back to Barbie's Fox, Alencia 3 wide in the white cap on the outside, a Renaissance Woman, and Madame Pomry's last of all. So Tropical Squall in front by a half to Osmos. Zoo Gotcha gets to third in the leader's back position, and a half the outside to Macarena. 2 after More Secret. Samana a bit keen the udder. Then Campionessa on a 3 wide par from Arctic Glamour, a tissue between them. So Tissue's about 6 lengths away from the favourite in the run. Further back to Ruthless Dame, Barbie's Fox, Eternal Flame, Alencia out wide, and well back in the field, Renaissance Woman and Madame Pomry. Tropical Squall looking for another Group 1. Tropical Squall leads around the corner from the stablemate Osmos. The favourite Zoo Gotcha plonked in third and looking to take a run on the inside as Macarena pulls out. Tropical Squall up the rise, a narrow leader. Zoo Gotcha's rallying the inside, then Macarena further back to Osmos. Samana inside the 150. Zoo Gotcha joined Tropical Squall. Macarena is still there. Zoo Gotcha got to a narrow lead from Macarena. A big run late by a tissue. It's Zoo Gotcha in front from a tissue. Wide apart, a tissue lunge. Zoo Gotcha trying to cling on. Photo finish, Zoo Gotcha and a tissue. Then Macarena and Samana from Campionessa. Further back to Eternal Flame, Ruthless Dame. More Secrets from Tropical Squall. Osmos was next from Barbie's Fox, Alencia. Then came
Again, it looks a gotcha to us, but a tissue does get a big bob in here. She's going to a second in a row of tissue in the race. They hit it together now. It does look Zagotcha, and Zagotcha it is. And James McDonald gets his first Queen of the Turf. Chris Watt.
Isn't she? She's been able to rack up another Group 1 to her name. This has probably been her best preparation, and it's just her ability to sit not too far off of the speed, peel out at the right time, have a great turn of foot. But then you look at a tissue who is rattling home. She would have recorded some of the best sectionals in the race, but her racing pattern bodes against her by having to sit.
It's been a really good go for one in this. So Red Card is our favourite in a pretty open race, but it is the horse that's currently on the second line, Wee Nessie, that has been hammered here. $8.50 the open, bottomed out at $4.40, now $4.60. I can tell you that is...
Racing now, Red Card jumped out well, so did Paul Rimbella, and they're the early leaders. Miss Hellfire's handled the start quite well, going to third. Then came Everyone's a Star as Red Card takes the lead in the first 200 metres. Over racing a little from Bull Rimbella, then Everyone's a Star, Miss Hellfire, and Say Magique getting a bit keen in a 3-wide position. Wee Nessie and the gold cap down on the rails. Then came Papali from Tashi wide out together with Bulls. Then Dalcini. Soltaire's back third last, approaching the turn from Mirror View. Rain Beal, and now Miss Fabergé is the last one. Red Card and Bull Rimbella head and head inside the 550 from the roughie. Everyone's a Star. Miss Hellfire wide out. Wee Nessie's probing through on the rails. They straighten up now. Red Card under a double grip, turned in front, coming wide from Bull Rimbella the outside, sticking to the task. Bull Rimbella laying it down to Red Card, 2 lengths away to Wee Nessie. Then Everyone's a Star and Miss Hellfire. Bull Rimbella moved up. Bull Rimbella took the lead, but Wee Nessie is heading top gear, and Wee Nessie charges up the inside, and Wee Nessie will win the Sapphire. Won it by a length to Bull Rimbella. Photo for third, Miss Hellfire and Whiteout Say Magique. They beat off Red Card. Then came Papali from Everyone's a Star, Tashi. Then came Miss Rain Beal and Wolves.
Well, Jamie Carr's had a very solid championships, hasn't she? It was a perfect ride, lots of confidence. She's right of screen. She's soaring along now, about 6 horses off the fence with nobody inside of her.
Yeah, she just had a perfect run in transit, and she's just got a better turn of speed than those 2 horses up on the pace, and that's what was telling in the end. I love the way that Julie asks her to extend and find the line and get the job done, and that's exactly what she was able to do.
And Richie, on this day last year, she ran second in the Arrowfield behind Half Cabin, so she produces such good form on this day 2 years in. 4 million last year, up to 5 million the Quokka, along with the time on it, and it is a time on a Karrakatta plate
as well. Now Buckets Ridge is our favourite, a top fluck of $5 into $3.30. Own the Queen, the filly, $8.50 early. That might have been with deductions there with Zip Away into $4.60 now. A lot of good men at $6. Lord Vampy at 11.
Ready to go. Racing. Caught them beautifully. Alaskan was away well towards the inside. Star Rating and Grand Reserve in the middle. Rocking Society. And Knock One Back wider out is coming over as well as Autumn Rebel is kicking up on the inside and running down to the 200 the first time round. Rocking Society out wide is working up from Alaskan. Autumn Rebel on the fence and Grand Reserve close up with Star Rating. So Alaskan will be about 5th past the post. Why Me is next. Not One Back midfield. A lot of good men just behind him. Simply on the inside. Lord Vampy, Beach Pad, then Buckets Ridge, who's still 4th last, a length and a half to Royal Tornado. Own the Queen, she's back there 2nd last, and Flash of Dallas is the last one. So they swing down to the back of the track with Rocking Society and Star Rating. Grand Reserve up to 3rd. Autumn Rebel over on the inside, and then Alaskan in good order. Why Me? Further back to Knock One Back, and on the outside is a lot of good men midfield ahead of Simply. Lord Vampy, Buckets Ridge is next, Beach Pad, then Own the Queen. She's 3rd last on the outside of Royal Tornado, and whipping them in is Flash of Dallas. Around 500 metres left to go as they make their way toward the next turn with Rocking Society in front of Star Rating. Grand Reserve covers extra ground. Autumn Rebel on the inside, then Alaskan in the centre. Outwider is in good order. A lot of good men next, followed by Knock One Back, and then Why Me, Buckets Ridge, and Own the Queen. The fillies on a move around them as they come to the turn, and they're tight and compact, only about 3 lengths first to last. They're about to race into the straight. In good order's gone up to hit the front. A lot of good men giving chase. Buckets Ridge, Own the Queen. Rocking Society is still there. A lot of good men has reached the lead. Lord Vampy has come through. In good order over on the inside, but it's a lot of good men clear. 2 in front, 3 in front. Buckets Ridge taking ground off together with Lord Vampy, but it's a lot of good men. A lot of good men. 2 lengths to either Buckets Ridge or Lord Vampy. In good order, Rocking Society, Autumn Rebels, Simply, then came Alaskan. They're followed by Beach Pad, Royal Tornado from Flash of Dallas, and dropping right out with Star Rating and Why Me.
So a lot of good men had won over $500,000 prior to today. He'd run the good second in the Mel Vista behind Buckets Ridge, and now he turns the tables on him today, and he's won by a bit of a margin. Jared Noski celebrates, and Trevor Andrews, so well known as a leading trainer in Western Australia for years.
Yeah, so Jared Noski called a lot.
I'm not going to know a lot, but he's done really well. I think he's a 3rd or 2nd season sire in WA, so he's done a good job over there.
Buckets Ridge will be 2nd, and Lord Vampy 3rd, and in good order there. So the numbers will be 2, 5, 3 and 7. 2, 5, 3 and 7, and all of them coming through that Mel Vista Stakes that we said was the obvious, because it's so dark in colour. He was striking. He became the people's horse like his dad did, the Mighty Ocky.
And what he was able to produce as well, I think, was really important to mention. Piero being one of his progeny, and now we're seeing Piero out of Winks, and who knows what sort of history that type of horse will make. But to what Gary has to say, it's all about how they handle this surface, and it is a tricky track, so we're not quite sure what the best position to be in is. But he's very fit, he's busting to win a race. I don't think it's a race where there's a lot of depth, so I've had him on top.
If we have a test of strength, it's going to feel more like a 2,300, 2,400 metre race up the straight here today.
And they're racing. The favourite Tannhauser left the gates well. So did Gold Bullion in the white cap, surging forward, taking the lead. Gold Bullion out by 2. Jacobs Time and Ravello fast improving wide out. Kintyre sits handy. Then came the grey Texas Fireball, tracking up into a 3-wide position early. Tannhauser the favourite off the fence, 1 off the fence midfield. 3. They've got 1,200 metres to go, and Gold Bullion in front. Gold Bullion by 3/4 to Jacobs Time. Kintyre getting an economical run on the fence. Then came Ravello from Our Gold Hope. Further back to Texas Fireball in the running line around Anderson Bridge. Then Tannhauser. No change to the order. Uncle Harry and Kodo Dakatsa are the last 2. So Gold Bullion goes to the 900 metres. A half-length leader from Jacobs Time. Then Kintyre. Texas Fireball pulls out to start a run on the outside of Ravello. Now Tannhauser trying to get onto his back from Anderson Bridge. Our Gold Hope. Kintyre just lost a length or so, but starting to pick up the bridle again. 2 off to Kodo Dakatsa, and Uncle Harry's last of all. Gold Bullion being eyeballed by Jacobs Time. Ravello 3rd, followed by Texas Fireball. Tannhauser roused along, coming around them, and now Kintyre is starting to pick up, going right up the inside, looking for room. Gold Bullion comes up the rise in front of Jacobs Time. Our Gold Hope running on, so's Tannhauser the outside, and Kintyre's locked up. Our Gold Hope at the 250, races to the front. Tannhauser in second position, a non-threatening second, fighting back Gold Bullion and Kintyre. Gold Bullion and Gold Hope. Now Kintyre's revving up on the inside. Kintyre up the inside, going to Gold Bullion. Gold Bullion, Kintyre. Gold Bullion kicked and won. Gold Bullion a half head to Kintyre. Our Gold Hope 3rd, Tannhauser 4th. Gap back to Anderson Bridge from Jacobs Time. Further back to Uncle Harry from Texas Fireball, Ravello and
Tannhauser, he battled today, just couldn't quite pick up. Now Jamie squeezing on Tim, squeezing. Bob's got to be important, needs everything to go right. And you look at that and you think Tim's won by a nostril.
Oh, well, it was a great finish anyway. And Jamie Brown, let's have a look at this head-on, because she wanted to come around horses, but she wasn't able to do so. So she thought, well, I've got to go up along the rail. She took a little bit of time to get there, but I also think he was a touch reluctant as well. You can see he's just got his head just looking to one side. He's not quite able to go straight, and that's when Jamie had to just pull the whip through and ask for a little bit more of an effort. And it was very, very tight over the concluding stages, maybe even a little bump there on the line as well.
Oh gosh, look, it's just a reminder.
Bullion wins over Kintyre. Just let's have a look here. Do they come together? Does Gold Bullion run in? Kintyre's running out slightly with 40 metres from the line now.
Bruce goes early crow now.
I said, it'll get up. Squeezy. Adrian Bott is with
room there for Jamie. She's through, no concern at all. Starting to drift in a touch there. So he definitely has come in. He was in a straight line for a majority.
So, look, I think it'll be dismissed, personally. I'm going to put my hand up.
Close to the line?
I think
over the last 4 to 5 strides of the race, given the margin of a nose, stewards believe that the objection should be upheld. We believe that had it not been for the crowding, Kintyre would have beaten Gold Bullion. The numbers amended accordingly to 4 Kintyre first, 5 Gold Bullion second. Thank you.
So a great result for Gary Portelli that he spoke to Emma.
And militarised. So it's certainly the key to have had. It's nice to have had a run in a golden slipper, and that really fits the bill with Manal.
It's the Manal, as you say. Absolutely perfect, Lizzie. In 10 years, Lizzie, since a filly can be the same one, has won the first 4 Group 1 2-year-olds for the season.
Yeah, well, she's just a terrific little filly. She just puts herself right in every.
Incredible first day of the championships where we didn't think we'd be able to race. So no racing here until, I think, late May. I think there's a pretty good break between now and the next.
And is going to jump our favourite, I would imagine. As for those a little bit further down the market order, Linebacker's the second best backed runner in the race. So on that, you would say Broadsiding's been that touch quiet. But that is only with tab fixed odds. When you have a look at the firm, $4.20 into $3.50, that probably tells you there might be money elsewhere. But in money order, Manal from Broadsiding, then Linebacker, and then
racing now. Well, she was the first head of the gates, Manal, but a note is quickly whipping through, and a note takes the lead. The favourite's going to sit second, Manal, and Fearless third. Linebacker zooms into fourth. They're followed further back by Tenbury Wells. In Her Eyes has taken a spot down on the rails. And the last two broadsiding on the inside of the maiden El Costello. So they've gone a few hundred metres, and Anode is the front runner by 3/4. Line back and now strides to second, followed by Fearless leaders back on the inside of the favourite Manal. So Jamie Carr's got the hot favourite, one out, one back. They're followed after 2 lengths then to Tenbury Wells and the outside of In Her Eyes. El Costello's parked on the outside of the very well supported broadsiding, is quite content to stay down on the rails. So Anode leads down the side. Anode by 3/4 to Linebacker. They're followed by Fearless on the inside of Manal. Then came Tenbury Wells striding forward 3 wide, taking closer order. Back in the field, El Costello gets going. So broadsiding's in a pocket, one off the fence now. In Her Eyes is down on the rails. 600 metres to go. Anode in front narrowly from Linebacker, and Tenbury Wells goes to third, followed by Fearless fourth on the inside of Manal. Broadsiding's right on her coattails as they come around the corner, and Anode is flat to the boards in front narrowly from Linebacker, striding up 2 lengths away to Manal. Broadsiding looking for a gap between runners as Linebacker takes the lead of the 300, beating off Anode. Then Fearless running on. Manal's grinding as Broadsiding starting to pick up. It's Linebacker in front, 150 out, but Broadsiding's looming large. Broadsiding tackling Linebacker. Broadsiding and Linebacker. Broadsiding strong. Pulls away to win the Champagne Stakes by 3/4. 2 Linebacker and a gap to Fearless third. Manal didn't get through the conditions. Then came Anode, a big gap to Tenbury Wells, In Her Eyes and El Costello.
He's a good colt. We know he's a good colt. He's a 2 darn hot. He's a Fernhill Champagne winner, just like James did with Prized Icon pre-Bart. Prized Icon won the Victoria Derby in that same year. 3-2-4-7. Lizzie, I thought
that his win was probably added with a lot more merit. He had to come from back in the field off a slow tempo. He travelled. It was a very, very good run. But Broadsiding, I think he's the colt we're going to be talking about a lot next season.
James Cummings, 95 Group 1s, 14 taking us through the history of this race. And what do you do in terms of the lead-up runs to win an all-age stake? So,
well, the TJ is a...
He's got plenty of sting out of the ground today, Chain of Lightning.
Oh, that's right. Her mother was a mutter and she's a mutter. And she is in career best form. Great by winning a Group 1 at its next start, which surprised everyone. She's still $7 or $8, so you can tell the market's still not trusting her 100%.
If it was a soft 7, Espiona, I think, would be shorter. Now, can she handle a heavy 10?
Oh, I'm getting a little... I've got the heebie.
She's going to struggle a little bit, but she's very, very talented, along with this girl as well, Sunshine in Paris, who I think is just a super mare. She, again, it's a question whether she'll handle the heavy conditions, but Magic Time will handle the heavy conditions.
Oh, no doubting that. And this is the #1 spot for her. 1,400 metres. The TJ Smith, 6 of the last 8 years, the all-age winner has run in the TJ. They all ran top 5. She's just outside top 5.
The colt, Southport Tycoon.
Yeah, he'd been kept for this race, and that's probably...
In this race don't necessarily reflect where the money is going, but I can tell you the favourite is popular enough, not the most popular in the race, but close. So most popular in the race is that horse on the 5th line, Southport Tycoon. Currently $6.50, but the majority of money with tab fixed odds is on that horse, $6. In terms of firms, Magic Time 11 into $6.50 and Chain of Lightning 8 into $6. I'm fans at $15.23 or more. The rest with Buffalo River, a bit of a firmer from that 51 over.
Racing now, Private Eye jump well together with Bandersnatch wide out, and Chain of Lightning is right there, but McDonald's going forward on Private Eye, looking to cross the field, gets a length clear from Chain of Lightning. Amenable the outside goes to second, then Chain of Lightning, Sunshine in Paris, Bandersnatch out wide, then Magic Time, 'Tis Invincible, further back to Buffalo River, then came NCAP, Southport Tycoon, and right back to last now is Espiona, and second last is Airman. So Private Eye taken to the front, leads from Amenable. Bandersnatch caught 3 wide. Buffalo Rivers 4 wide. Followed by Sunshine in Paris. Chain of Lightning 1 off. Magic Time 3 out. Further back to NCAP on a wide pass from Tith's Invincible. Then Buenos Notches between them. Southport Tycoon well back with Airman. And Espiona will have to come from last to beat them. This is a real war in the lead. Private Eye from Amenable. On the outside, Buffalo River with Bandersnatch. 4 of them across the track. Sunshine in Paris is tracking up.
waiting for Rails Run. Chain of Lightning shown the stick as they come up the rise. Private Eye and Amenable head and head. Sunshine in Paris looking to come off heels but not sprinting. Here's Magic Time letting go with a good run wide out. Amenable at big odds takes the lead. Magic Time is the pursuer. It's Amenable in front from Magic Time. They'll fight it out. Amenable a half in front of neck. Magic Time looms on the outside and went on by. Magic Time got up to beat Amenable. Private Eye a distance away third. A gap to Sunshine in Paris. Then Bandersnatch, Chain of Lightning, Espiona with Rails runs at the end. Further back, Buffalo River, Southport Tycoon, a gap to NCAP, Tes Invincible, Buenos Noches and Airman a long last.
Well, she was in the market, wasn't she? One of those mares that we talked about. For much of the straight, it looked like Chad Schofield and Amenable were going to pull off a really big upset. But she was the one horse in the straight that actually quickened, or looked to quicken, didn't she?
Yeah, she relished those conditions. She's the only one that actually loved that surface. By Hellbent, we've seen how well they go in these types of heavy tracks. What a ride, Chad Schofield. I mean, Amenable has not been going well at all, and he just went forward. He held him together as long as he possibly could. He would have thought at the top of the straight, maybe I might hold on, but it was just the talent of Magic Time in these wet conditions that was able to overcome Amenable. Private Eye, well, he
knows this mare so well. Graham Begg. Well, Graham and Sue were just eventually had such a small stable in Randwick. They made their way down to Victoria.
Fair bit about those. The Quokka awaits. The Quokka.
The hearts are pumping. They're ready. Racing in the Quokka. First of them to get going. Games letting down. Where's Amelia's Jewel? Back in the field, but running on strongly. As for a overpass, Red Can Man. 100 left to go. Overpass as for Amelia's Jewel coming. She's coming at the rate of knots. Overpass. Amelia's Jewel. She lunged. Did she get there? I don't know. She came like a train.
Has she got up? Lunging. Oh, it looks overpass to us here, doesn't it? And overpass it was. So there's the trophy that Simon Miller was talking to Emily about a moment ago. The Quokka, they've put another $1 million on the race, Lizzie and Richo. They've got themselves a similar field, probably just as good, but a little...
Quokka, and what a day it is, and what a race day we've got here at Ascot this afternoon. And the WA favourite in Amelia's Jewel, she really has had great support. So too has Overpass, who's starting to firm in with Josh Parr. King of Sparta coming in from $7, and there's really good money coming for him now. Malkovich has eased in the market, as has the New Zealand galloper Waitak out the door. Bella Nipotina the door. Bella Nipotina's had good support with Craig Williams, and Amelia's Jewel obviously the favourite, and she stayed firm in the market.
Worth that much. Here's Overpass, the defending champion, born with a hat on as well. What a racehorse he's turned out to be.
He has, yeah, and he's always under much better with cut in the track, so it's not necessarily going to...
He knows her well.
Up she comes. Those three protagonists are all back for the second running of the Quokka. $5 million on the line here. All those slot holders.
The clock for $5 million. Racing. Was Oscar's Fortune. Bella Nipotina found herself a little wide. Then Saloon Bar back near the inside. They were followed further back behind them to King of Sparta settling down. Then Petula. The inside, then the 3-year-old Oscar's Fortune. Wider out Bella Nipotina. They're homeward.